Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Jokakaka. I'm Jim.
I'm Sam.
And we have two special guests today. Special guests, would you like to introduce yourselves?
No.
Yeah,
Damn
me
it.
neither.
Hey.
All right, that's the end of the podcast. Thank you for joining us.
I am Holly, aka Purmello. I do funny JoJo animation. That's it.
And I am Aeonstar, and I do funny JoJo theories, which, yeah, they're really funny.
They're so fucking funny, dude.
They're hilarious.
Hilarious.
No, but really,
Never
I just
gonna
want
come
to
true.
I just want to thank you both for coming on. It's super exciting. This is the one thing I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to have a more a bigger group of people and just kind of bouncing theories off. And I guess that brings us to the topic for today's episode. We're going to tell you, confirm it. Everything here is legal. You can challenge us on it if we're wrong. This is how JOJOLION will end.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely faultless.
Just like that
Every
one-
theory you guys have had, throw it out the window.
Shit.
Kato is a character? Not anymore. Kato's been removed from the story.
Pork Pie Hack is the main villain of Part 8.
Kyo's gonna get brought back just so she can get removed again. It's gonna be
Hell
fun.
yeah.
Wait. No,
Crazy.
that one's true.
The end with Kyo getting a new job, but you don't know what the job is. It's a cliffhanger.
Ah,
Yeah.
damn, I'm going to have to tune in for next part of JoJo, part 9.
Yes, she becomes an e-girl.
It's gonna be hosted exclusively on my channel.
Damn.
Hell
We're
yeah. Oh
spoiling
yeah,
too
check
much
out
already.
check out all of Purmello's awesome part 9 JoJo videos. They're super cool.
We're not in the
As well
porn
as
parts.
Aeonstar's theory videos, which I find super awesome. And yeah,
Premature plugging, Jim. God.
sorry. I'm nervous.
Everyone's already stopped listening.
Yeah,
Shit.
Quick, give them the goods.
that's normal.
I'm
lifting my shirt up.
Gabby 4 balls.
I'm showing all
Gappy
the
gets an additional 2 balls.
Ooh.
All right, so
Alright, but
I think we can just kind of dive in. I know you guys put some questions out to see if there were any topics. Do you guys have any that you would like to start with that you think would be fun to tackle?
Oh yeah. I actually had one recurring question that I had. Actually, almost every question in my on my post was relating to this, and it was the mysterious man. Do you guys know who I'm talking about?
Oh, you mean Damo?
No,
Leon-
Yeah,
Leon-
not
yeah,
Damo.
quote unquote Damo.
Not Damo.
It's Leon
It's-
Kennedy, right?
No,
Because,
okay.
Araki wouldn't have been like, oh, flashback to that one scene. Like, he's obvious about that kind of shit.
Yeah, I think I said this before, but like, there is zero way that this is an established character and that Gappy knows that, because if we were supposed to know who this guy was, there would have been 8 chapters about it by now. Like,
Yeah.
we clearly don't know who he is.
Right, it's just
So,
like not
I
the way
believe he
Araki
was-
writes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But like, I'm not just gonna bring up old ground because I noticed something new about the mysterious boy. So, here I'm gonna send it.
Which,
in our,
wait,
in our
Mysterious
little-
Boy, are we talking about the
baby?
soft and
Oh, the
wet
baby.
one or the bling bling baby?
I'm talking about the blonde weird man that Gappy remembers.
Right, okay.
That's Leon
Sorry.
Kennedy. Yeah.
Yeah, Leon Kennedy.
Leon
I'm talking about
Kennedy.
Leon. So, here, I'm gonna send it in our little chat here. So I have picture number 1.
All right, I will edit these pictures in. So yeah,
Oh,
our
and-
viewers.
Spicy Splice.
I've also seen people mention that this might be Kira, but there's no way that's the case because he's drawn
Yeah.
completely differently in the black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only is he drunk completely, I'm pretty sure this is from like the same chapter that Kira's appearance is revealed.
Exactly,
so
yeah.
That would be the dumbest thing ever. But yeah,
JoJo
No,
fans
he,
aren't known
he
for being
forgot
very
in like
smart,
2
though.
pages.
something interesting that you'll notice about these 2 pictures, and I've never noticed this before. I don't know if anyone has really like consciously noticed this. The 2 images where he recognizes the guy
It's
are
Gappy.
like first of all, Gappy's present. Second
Yeah.
of all, it's the exact same shot. Like it is this is clearly not only him remembering what the guy looks like, this is a distinct like event that happened, right?
Right.
Like this is him looking up at him nearby the wall eyes. Like this is clearly like a thing that happened.
Right. So the weird thing about this is that there's really no time frame which this could actually exist. Either
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
it it's Gappy remembering himself, but like we see Gappy, but it's really like Kira or Josefumi. Or 2, it somehow happened between the time that Gappy went underground and he resurfaced, which
Well, I'd say
that doesn't make sense.
yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
answer 2.5 would be that this is a metaphysical thing that happened within his
Right,
own
it's a
mind.
metaphorical place in space and time.
Yeah, which kind of feeds into my theory that this is either like holy saint Johnny Joestar, like a
Right.
saint like Johnny Joestar, or some other saint of which the relevant holy corpse belongs to.
You mean something similar to Ticket to Ride when Lucy sees the stand guardian thing in the fireplace? Something similar to
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh, that's
like,
a really good connection.
yeah, like we've already seen demonstrated that when you use a holy corpse, the person that it belonged to will appear nearby you, and like, hey, if the wall eyes are caused by a fucking holy corpse, if all this shit is the influence of a holy corpse, I don't know why I'm cursing so much, but like, realistically speaking, a guy transformed by the earth that a corpse is buried in would probably see an image of the guy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so like you're thinking it's the only difference that I'm seeing here is like it doesn't look that much like Johnny Joestar. Like
Yeah.
if that's supposed to be like a metaphorical representation of him, like when Johnny sees Jesus when he's telling him to shoot himself in the head.
Yeah.
Like the thing that really throws me off is the thing he's wearing, the blue whatever it is,
Yeah,
parka.
It's kind of hard to tell. It looks like a parka or like a button-up shirt or something.
Yeah, that's the main
Yeah.
thing that's thrown me off, and the hair isn't like exactly like Johnny's, but it could be like kind of Araki trying to obfuscate it to make it a bigger reveal.
But yeah,
I
it's
don't
over
know.
the course of like 100 years, sure.
Basically.
Kind of reminded
heard-
me of Funny.
I've heard some people say it reminds them of Funny. I don't.
I don't see that.
like,
They
I-
bring it back funnier and
I
funniest
think-
Valentine.
I think
Oh,
the
God.
only reason people say that it looks like Valentine is because of the blonde hair, and we can't really run with that considering.
No canon
Shueisha.
colors.
Yeah,
yeah, the
Shueisha.
Shueisha colors just
purple
they screw
wash.
up a lot.
Yeah,
Close up to
unless
his
this is
color
like a
scheme.
note given by Araki, like, hey, this is Funny Valentine color. I'm like Funny Valentine, but
Or
like,
just like he could just straight up say, "Hey, he's blonde and is wearing blue." There you
yeah,
go.
basically, right? Like, but yeah, I don't know. Like, it just feels weird to me that they were just like this late in JoJolion. If he's going to solve this mystery at all, then it feels weird to just bring in a new character and say, "Oh, hey, you remembered this guy?" and he just showed up.
But what if
Right,
he like is
like-
the head doctor when he was young or some shit?
Yeah,
or
that's
something
Yeah.
like
that doesn't make. Yeah.
If he just does that.
The main thing is like a lot of people think it might be a rock human, but like it's not any pre-established rock human that we've met, unless some real weird shit happened to poor Tom in like 2 days, or
Because we saw what Dolomite looked like when he was younger, as a human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does not resemble this guy, so he can be rolled out pretty handily.
Yeah, I feel like it's not out of the question for JoJolion to have some sort of like weird existential like Mr. Robot twist where there's like this massive conspiracy and like everything that has happened throughout the entire part is connected. I don't know though.
I mean,
Yeah,
like,
it's just so funny that it's like we're so late into part 8, and this, as you said, this character hasn't really resurfaced, and we also haven't really had anything connecting back to the Holy Corpse at all, which is crazy, because it
the
feels like
past.
it's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, like-
I'm thinking just like if the Holy Corpse is gonna pop up at all again by the end.
the
That's
thing
what I've been
is,
like,
like,
wondering.
Yeah.
I feel like this has to be addressed at some point because it's not like Araki to leave something this big at like the very beginning of the part and just not address it
Yeah.
at all. Even if he
Yeah.
just hand waves it with 1 or 2 lines, like it's gonna get addressed.
it's
I'm not
It's
sure if it
definitely the
will
equivalent
be.
of like a stand arrow.
Yeah.
Just like it's always gonna
Yeah.
be popping up, and it kind of has to be an important plot, the plot point.
And what I've been addressing a lot before, and that I'll bring up again, is that for a mystery story that's nearing its end, it almost feels like, and this isn't really a criticism, this is just like a a point that I don't see addressed very much. For how much this mystery has progressed, we don't really have that many connections. Like, we know that there's a rock fruit, and we know there's a rock disease, and we know there are rock humans, but none of them have a common ancestor. And that's really, really weird.
We do know a bit about that. It's just, like, it hasn't been addressed in a while, but I think it's during the Aphex Twins part. The cover of the chapter is a tree, and like it extends up, and it's like a tree of evolution where at the bottom it has like a primate or something like that, and eventually it branches off. One branch is humans and the other branch is the rock humans. So like it makes it seem like there's a common ancestor between the two of them, but we don't know what caused the divergence, if it's just natural or it has something to do with the Jokakaka.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we haven't really got a huge dive into the rock humans at all, other than just like, I think there was like the one before the chapter actually started with like the giant like evolution or just the information of rock humans.
Yeah, it gave like all the like biologic information.
Yeah.
And it said like, 90% of rock humans have stands. Like, oh wow, I'm glad. Thank you for telling me this in a very direct way.
And there's only like 2 rock humans, or we don't even know the head doctor technically is.
Probably
is.
That's another thing. Like, all right, are we all on board with the idea that Toru is the stand user or the head doctor?
Absolutely, yeah.
I hate to be I'm a little cautious person about that. I can't think of a funny thing to say. I'm a little like on the side of this is very much like heading towards that direction, and I would not be surprised if it was. But I think there's a couple like big things that need to be addressed, particularly the fact that we've seen the head doctor talk. People like know who he is.
Okay, that's exactly what I wanted to go into, because like I think the only real big question we have left when regarding the head doctor is, okay, is Toru copying the identity of someone who actually exists, or is the head doctor a fabrication completely?
Yeah, like, that's the thing that's always struck me as weird about, like, Akifu, like, visually. Is because he isn't just some old guy. He's clearly, like, an old rock human guy. Like, he looks a very specific way. And that's so weird to me. Like, if Toru, who's clearly, or at least, like, probably just a normal guy, why would his illusion be, like, this super obviously evil-looking guy with a very distinct appearance? Like,
my idea is that it's a reflection of his paranoia about his youth, which would lead to him, one, kind of thinking of it as a rock human, if he is even, like, he might not even be a rock human if he's paranoid about his youth, because, you know, rock humans tend to age slower than regular humans. But at the same time, it might also be like him wanting to get in with the rock humans and what they're doing so that he could get this medical advancement that he otherwise wouldn't be able to.
I don't know, I feel like I somehow doubt that the other rock humans didn't know that Akifu was an illusion. I don't know, something about that just...
Yeah, you might be right, because when they're in the ambulance, it seems like that must be Toru, not a Kefu.
Yeah.
So
like,
they probably know, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know that the silhouette versions of stand users have always been sort of generic and sometimes contradictory.
Right, they're not reliable, but yeah.
They're never that fucking, like, because, like, the head doctor clearly has very obvious inspirations and a very, like, from his core, there's no way he could be like, oh, he's a young guy. Oh, never mind, he's a 89-year-old, like, fucking... like, crippled weirdo. Like, no, there's clearly, like, there was clearly no retconning there. Like, this is obviously a youthful man.
Yeah.
Right.
Kinda looks like Axl Rowe.
But, like...
Yeah, unfortunately, all of the other rock humans have been brutally murdered, except Dolomite.
Who's
Yeah.
chilling.
And we don't even know what his connection to the head doctor would possibly even be.
I mean, I feel like at this point, Dolomiti has to be the person that Gappy sent the package to, because there's not really any other options.
Everybody's
Yeah.
pretty sold on
Show or
that.
some shit.
and the whole thing, I think it's pretty much like all but confirmed. The whole thing where he says, "I can't pursue him, but I can be made to pursue him."
Right,
like,
and then immediately after it shows a panel with the emptied Jokakaka vial. Because, like, what else would he be... Who else would he be sending that to? It's not like Tsurugi or someone is going to be able to be healed with that, because the main thing is they needed a new Jokakaka, while Dolomiti could probably just be content with the regular one.
Yeah.
it would be crazy to see him, like, turn into a young, beautiful man again.
Oh, but with, like, rock legs. Oh, that'd be sick.
That would be fucking awesome.
Kind of
So
reminded
cool.
me of like Highway Star. Like, he's just gonna
Right.
heal the guy crippled, and then he's gonna help him out.
And he's at a hospital, too, now.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, shit. Fuck.
Jim, are you ready for Blue Hawaii Part 2?
Oh, God, no!
Like, Google-
My least favorite arc.
it's back.
Honestly, I feel like I'll be riding the hype of the whatever cool things are happening. So I'm okay with Blue Hawaii coming back. I just really thought that was like the most protracted arc.
I think the
was
only
like
real
half a
issue with
year.
the Blue Hawaii arc is it's 4 months of Gappy running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he
I
did hit
can
an
see
old
that
lady
getting
with a shovel,
frustrating.
though.
Yep, I mean,
At least
can't
with
really-
at least with the current arc, we're left wondering. With Blue Hawaii, everyone knew what was happening. It was just a really long fight.
yeah. I mean, there was some interesting stuff in there, like all the stuff with Yasuho trying to get the information, and then Jobin
Oh,
brain
sure.
frying
yeah,
her.
There was some tension, but like the lead conflict just was kind of.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so I think kind of moving on. So I know we started talking about the mysterious man in the flashback, but just to put a bow on it, do we think that he will show up again
I
in the
do.
end of JoJolion?
Not necessarily in person, but we'll find out
Oh.
what his deal is.
Yeah,
I think we're
don't
due for a
it's-
flashback.
I don't think
One
it's
more.
going to be an unresolved plot point.
Right. Like, and if it is Johnny Joestar, I get the feeling that it's going to happen soon, because, like, where was Yasuho left off at the end of the last chapter? I can't remember.
She's still like
Because she's
dying
going for...
in
Yeah,
the
she,
driveway.
alright, she talked to Toru, and she says that she has a means of healing, likely referring to the new Jokakaka, which is what brings Toru over. But I got the feeling that, like, at some point she's going to be brought to the Higashikata Shrine, because...
I think
No.
that makes sense.
I just got a bad idea.
What?
Oh, the man. What if it's not a flashback, but it's a premonition, and it's
Oh,
like
no.
Yasuho merged with Norisuke?
Ugh!
Oh my god!
Damn it, no!
No, please.
That's interesting,
Alright,
premonition,
alright,
but I haven't seen like anything in here to hint at anyone having like seeing to the
It's
future
like-
kind of.
Where are they
of
right
thing
now?
going.
They're at the walleyes, bro. Fucking. Oh, I hope they don't do that shit. Oh,
I don't think so.
Oh shit! Damn, I don't know if anyone has had this thought before, except
I
just
hate
right
the fact
now.
that
and
you said
damn.
that, because I kind of see the resemblance now.
Yeah, right? Like, I looked at it and I saw it, like, in that bottom picture. I'm like, that's a little... Fuck. Like...
Damn, it's gonna be really awkward for
This
Gappy.
combination can't be attractive. Oh
Alright,
no, they're hot.
Two things. I've hated the idea that this is a premonition, but at the same time, I also kind of don't like the idea that it's memories, because the whole deal Gappy has going on where he's like, okay, my memories are all gone. There's no memories of Kira and Josefumi. I need to find my own identity now. So,
Yeah,
like,
I
the
guess
fact that he
I-
has a memory of that is weird, but I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't have as much of an issue with it, I'd have more of an issue with it if it wasn't JoJo, because JoJo is kind of like, fate is a very integral part of its, identity, I guess. So, the premonition isn't out of the question.
I feel like so much people want the romance of Gappy and Yasho that I don't feel like they would do that unless they can demerge them.
Wait,
'Cause this is the
oh,
one-
demerge,
Araki
like,
hasn't
in the
strayed away
idea
from-
that they combine Norisuke and Yasuho. Yeah, I don't see that happening, but, like, I don't know. I really do think that JoJolion is going to end with, like, the transition between Part 8 and Part 9 is going to have, if there is a Part 9, obviously,
Yeah.
gonna have Gappy and Yasuho being the parents to whatever Part 9 protagonist.
God, I hope
Okay.
so. I want them to fuck. It's
I have
been
a fun
so
theory.
long, dude.
I have a fun theory about this that
Okay.
I've put a lot of thought into. So yeah, first off, I don't have too much. I mean, I want Part 9 to happen, but I'm not gonna like put stock in it. But here's my fan theory, Part 9, which you kind of said. It is going to be the child of Gappy and Yasuho, and I think it'll end with them fucking because we have seen emphasis. Araki puts emphasis on both of their reproductive systems. Gappy has 4 balls. Yasuho has significant menstrual pains. So
Wait, does she? I don't remember that.
That's at the
reason-
beginning of Doctor Wu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she goes there.
the reason why she was at the hospital, yeah.
Oh, really?
Uh,
Oh my
Yeah, it's
God.
mentioned a few times, and also that whole arc takes place in the gynecology ward. So.
Actually, I do. I have this similar idea, but I think the reason for it is completely different. I think the main reason it's focused on so much in JoJolion is to highlight the differences between the regular humans and the rock humans. Rock humans, like, their relationship with humans is really weird. It's really parasitic, and that's why, like, there's so many issues when it comes to humans and rock humans mating. Which is why I kind of like the idea that Kato is a rock human somehow, and that's what's causing all the issues, but that's another
that's a
thing
really cool
entirely.
theory.
Yeah, I think Medi was the one who mentioned it, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's cool, but the only thing is, like, we know that the rock sickness, I can't remember if it has an official name, the rock sickness of the
disease, I think.
Higashikata, rock disease, yes,
Yeah.
thank you. That has been going on for, like, generations, so,
Right.
Unless she's, also, yeah, I guess if she was, like, an eternal rock human, she could have a hand in that too, but, do we want to say anything about Kato? Is this a good, this is really
No.
loose
Oh
discussion.
no.
I still think she's shown on the front lawn, and Toru's gonna be like, "What is this strange woman like sunbathing on this lawn while there's horrific injuries going on the inside the estate?"
Okay, I do have something that I need to say about Kato. Like,
Go for
she does need to come back in some form. If she doesn't come back, I'll actually, like, that's a bad thing for JoJolion.
So, like,
There's so much
Okay.
unresolved shit that needs to be addressed with her.
I don't
Her and
hate...
Jobin need that.
I talk a lot of shit about Kato. I don't hate Kato as, like, a character. But I do think that a lot of people overestimate, like, her narrative utility or, like, her narrative purpose. Because I think for the most part, she was basically a vehicle to deliver Jobin's backstory, and then also to sort of demonstrate the fractured state of the Higashikata family as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And to sort of bring that conflict to the front. I don't think she's never gonna come back. I just don't think that she's gonna have this, like, conspiracy. I think she will be sort of taken out or dealt with in one way or another by the end of it, because that
Yeah.
sort of resolves that latent tension in the family, like, thematically speaking. But, like, I don't know that necessarily means, like, a lot of people seem to think that she is, like, the one orchestrating this entire fucking thing.
Okay, I agree with you for the most part, but there's 3 things that throw me off from this. The first thing is she is the only one who could have been contacting the rock humans when we're, like, back in the Killer Queen and Vitamin C arc, when Aisha was sent on the cargo ship. She's the only one who could have been the one who contacted them and was using the Higashikata parlor for that thing. The second thing is Araki went out of his way to demonstrate how her stand works, but deliberately didn't give its name. I feel like if she wasn't going to be important, there wouldn't be a need to make that a mystery.
Yeah.
And third one, I'm forgetting now, but yeah.
Yeah. I do think that we might see some sort of thing where, like, through some convoluted fucking mess, like, Kato gets injured, and then, like, she's like, "Please, Jobin, you must save me. You must use the funny fruit to save me, your mother."
Oh,
And
that
then-
alright, you actually remind me
Jobin-
of the third one. You remind me of the third one. The fact that Narisuke actually didn't die in the last chapter.
Yes.
Sure.
Which
So-
I called.
Yeah.
Because, like,
so,
Kato's main thing has been taking everything he loves.
Mm-hmm.
so
I
like,
think she's definitely due for like an encounter with Jobin, because they've been
Yeah.
building Jobin for like so many chapters, and I think she's due with like confrontation with his mama.
She's, like, his only ally left. Like, he doesn't have any of the Demokon group left. his family is practically turning against him at this point.
Yeah.
He clearly has no connection to the head doctor or like any of those guys.
Right, they're probably going to fight if anything.
God,
Yeah.
I just want to see fucking Joshu help Yasuho out and like make peace with that whole fucking weird situation. I want Joshu to be a goddamn king. Okay.
I still think he'll screw her arm back on. Like, I still think that.
I mean, like, is that... Because her arm looked like it disintegrated. I doubt Araki cares, but, like, I don't think that... Like, her elbow looks like it's gone. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I need to go back and check.
She has a cool
limbs.
screw in her elbow.
Because Mitsuba, like, reattached her, like, fingers with, like, the,
with her stand, with Awakening 3 Leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I don't think... Even, like, Bruno could, like, reattach that with zippers that just had, like, a void.
That makes sense if the nerve endings, like, could connect on its own as long as it's in place. Like, it was recently severed. I think that would actually work.
I guess so.
Yeah, but I don't think it would heal, like, immediately.
Instantly.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
I think, like, she still had it there for the entire time for, like, a couple days, I think, until she didn't need to again.
Jojo,
I
like,
kind of
to
wish
push
we
the
saw
limits.
more of that. One thing I thought would have been really cool if she had to... Because it was 2 of her fingers, so she had 2 of the leaves holding her fingers down. It would have been really cool if she was in a fight and she had to use her remaining... Like, if she only had, like, the 1 leaf. I thought that would have been a cool, like, gimmick for a fight, but I guess we didn't see
It's
that.
just healing in JoJo is weird. Like, I think Foo Fighters could just put like plankton into people and heal them. It's just
Yeah.
The healing
Yeah,
in
okay.
JoJolion specifically is really weird because, like, they can't have a dedicated healer because that nullifies the whole point of the Jokakaka. But at the same time, they get injured and then just nothing happens because of it.
horrific like face injuries and they'll be fine.
Like, they have basically their entire... I can't think of any specific scenarios, but, like, they've gotten seriously injured and it's just gone away. Oh, yeah, Born This Way. Gappy gets mutilated in Born This Way,
Yeah,
and then that shit's
fucking
just gone.
Skull stabbed or some shit. Like,
He
Well,
gets
the rain,
impaled by a pole. Like,
Yes. Oh my yeah. With the rain droplets from when him and Rai were in the police car, one like went through his brain. Like you see a rain droplet go clear
I think
through
that
his
was.
brain.
I think that actually went through the side of his cheek, and that's actually still present.
Oh, that's true.
During chapter 92.
yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
I think that's why like Josuke from Part 4 is like my favorite healer because he couldn't heal himself and was such an interesting like.
Right, and then he
Like,
just gets beat
counter
into
to his
hell and
stand,
back
but
in the
he got hurt,
last
he's fine.
arc.
But he's fine. Yeah, people can survive any injury in JoJo
Pretty much.
if you're not a main character.
But so, yeah,
maybe they still have a bit of zombie horse left over.
Oh, I love Zombie Horse.
It's in Yasuo's shoelaces. Oh my god.
It wasn't like a rock hair clip. It was a zombie horse clip.
Oh god, the hair clip of the Qing Dynasty. I feel like that's gonna come back in some way. Not necessarily that specific hair clip, but like the fact that rock animals exist. I don't know
I mean,
why
doesn't
that...
Jobin have a pretty nice hair clip? Like,
He's clothes.
I think that's like a tie clip or something that he puts in his hair.
Yeah.
well, he's using it as a hair clip.
I feel
pretty
like
much.
with the rock animal hair clip, maybe this is dumb fan theory shit. I feel like Toru has to be involved in that somehow. Didn't that backstory come directly before Toru's introduction?
Yeah,
like-
and they went to school together.
I think, hold on, it was chapter 71, I believe. There was a whole Dr. Wu and Ozone Baby arc in between it.
Yeah, but like, God, it feels.
Yes, he was introduced during Dr. Wu.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was.
Feels weird for that to just happen and then wait, I was gonna bring this up. Okay, remember, I'm going insane. So remember when she had the hallucination of her daddy, and then he like disintegrated.
Right.
We're gonna fucking see Satoru Akifu do the same shit, and that's gonna be our reveal.
Ooh.
We're gonna see him disintegrate
Satoru
like that.
Akefu is a rock animal?
No! Yasuo's dad wasn't a fucking rocket. It's like an illusion. It
And
creates
Yasuo's
a
a
Right,
rock
yeah,
animal.
it feeds off the negative energy or some shit, and like it
Yeah.
created an illusion.
Ooh.
But what are you saying is going to turn into a rock animal? Or
nothing.
it's going to
I feel-
disintegrate?
Remember when like the rock animal shit tricked Yasuho
Right,
into thinking that was
into
her dad,
thinking it was
and
her
then
father.
her dad, the image of her dad like disintegrated into like little pebbles and shit. Like,
Right.
they're just sort of vaporized. I feel like we're gonna see Akifu do that shit, and it's gonna be a reveal of, oh, this shit's connected. There's a common thread here. I can just see that image in my head, and that means it's gonna happen.
I don't know about that. Like, I'm not sure where you're... Like, what's the connection there between the hair clip specifically and Tefu?
I just feel like having two stories uniquely about illusions in pretty close proximity to each other, with a new character who also appeared in Yasuho's past, is just a little bit too convenient for me.
I mean, but at the same time, Dr. Wu did that whole shit where he disintegrated into rocks too, and I don't think it's much connected behind it just being rocks.
I think it's just the illusion part of it that kind of fucks me on that. Like...
And technically, Tsurugi also deals with illusions too, which I think is why people thought that Tsurugi was going to be a time-traveling Toru or some shit. I don't even know what that was. I don't even know where that shit came from, but...
that's kind of disgusting, but...
You love it.
Yeah,
really,
weird,
that is fucked up.
Weird stuff people have theories on. The one thing I've been thinking about, because, like... So people are pretty much confirmed, like, this operation of the head doctor is Toru Stan... And I'm thinking, it keeps appearing on camera, and people see it as the head doctor on camera. And
I don't think it's an illusion as in a perspective illusion like Tsurugi's works. I think it's an illusion as in it physically appears in the universe, and it just, like, it's just
like
surreal.
intangible.
It's intangible. It's surreal.
Yeah.
It's like seeing a shadow, basically. Because it's based on this whole Rene Magritte shit with... the treachery of images, where it's not an actual image, it's not an actual pipe, it's a picture of a pipe.
Yeah. Well, like, I think it is tangible. It goes
it's tangible.
It goes under Jobin's sheets.
It's not an actual doctor, it's an image of a doctor that you're seeing.
It's karmic energy.
Yeah.
I don't even want to try to figure out how that shit has anything to do with pursuing it.
Guys, that's Love Train.
Oh, God.
Fucking...
I mean, I kind of see where people were coming from with that, but I don't, like... That doesn't seem at all relevant.
So, like,
it doesn't hit the right boxes.
It isn't Love Train. I could see it coming from a slightly different Holy Corpse. It's a very similar ability, like, you have to admit.
Right, but I think that's just because Araki deals with karma and fate and bullshit all the time.
Yeah, that is fair.
Yeah, there's just, like, so much happening right now. That's just, like, it's funny because everyone was kind of, like, really perplexed by the Toru's obsession with wireless charging and all that stuff, and like radio signals. And then so one of our commenters actually brought it up in the last episode about like oh, that kind of connects to like the karmic energy in a way, and it just felt like, oh wow, is there like a connection that we're going to see fleshed out here? I just thought that was really interesting.
I personally thought that was more just like Araki trying to express Toru's motivation and just using like this idea of an invention just as a vehicle for that.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any extra significance to the fact that it's about electricity flying through the air. I think that's just like the way he wanted to go about it, like being late to an invention. Maybe he just really likes wireless charging cables, I don't know.
Yeah, that was just a Snapple fact he heard that morning. Like, it wasn't really anything.
He does that a lot.
Yeah,
that's the hardest part with JoJo.
About, like, establishing his motive. I do think that's what that scene was trying to do, and successfully, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, like, at first, I really didn't get what the whole point of the scene was, but, like, looking back at it with the context we have now, it's actually really good setting that up.
Yeah, of all the villains, like, if it is Toru, which, if it isn't, kind of the most bullshit red herring of all time, but, like, if
it's been, like, 12 months on this arc. If this is another swerve, I swear, this will actually, like, just make me hate the arc.
Yeah, like, so if Toru actually is, like, a big villain, I think that of all the villains we've seen so far in Part 8, he probably has the strongest motivation out of any of them. Like, he genuinely wants to change the world in some way. he's just taking a really fucked up route in doing it. Because he's, like, desperate. He has very little time left in his youth, by his perception. So he has to do something right now. And
he
he's
also
not
has
gonna
his
let
crush
anyone
on...
stop. Yeah.
I think there's a lot to be said about, like, the similarities between Toru and Jobin, how they're both, like, really trying to do what they think is right, but they're doing it in a really fucked up way.
Yeah. That is true.
He has this huge crush on Yasha, and I just think it has to lead to him and Joshu, like, encountering when he's going to get her. It has to be.
I'm still not entirely certain if that's genuine or not, because, like, I thought it was genuine at first, but after the last chapter where he just seemed disinterested that Yasuo was in peril, I think it might not be. I'm not sure.
Well, it definitely gives off the vibes of, like, controlling, and he really has, like, a goal. Like, there is ulterior motives with his kind of ensnare on her.
Right.
He's probably the biggest question mark.
I think that the relevant thing to bring up here is that he broke up with her. Like this... I feel like that's relevant in some way, because... I
think the reason he did end up breaking up with her was because this is when he got all involved with the Jokakaka shit. Because the timeline just seems to line up for that.
Yeah.
But, like, maybe now he's regretting it.
I could see it having been genuine when they were in, like, high school or whatever, or in early college, whenever they dated.
Right, and now it's, like, more manipulative.
Yeah, now it's, like, a thing, like, oh, you're close with Josuke now.
Because he, like, perks up for a second when Yasuo first mentions Gappy's name. So, like, I definitely think that that's the main reason he tried to get in with her. But, like, it could have also been, like, slightly more genuine in just him not being fond of the fact that someone else was going after the person he kind of regretted breaking up with.
The only weird thing is, like, oh, man. It's such a crazy coincidence that he dated the girl who is now, like, the closest with the guy who's trying to take him down. Like, that's a crazy coincidence, but at the same time, there's no way he could have planned that, because Josuke literally didn't exist.
Yeah, I think it's just that it's a small town.
Yeah, I guess it is.
There's also the moment where Gappy has her phone, and he just, like, texting her, and I feel like he did that just to troll him really hard.
Absolutely. That was definitely intentional on his part.
I always remember the picture of, like, her and Toru, like, on the beach in their swimsuits.
Oh my
I think
God.
they were actually on top of the cliffs by the walleyes, like, looking at that one panel. I'm not sure, though.
Even more intriguing if it is.
Yeah, I don't know why they were... I guess it was a picnic or something.
They want to go to the most dangerous place possible.
Hell yeah, wouldn't you?
Probably not.
Only with Toru.
All times are sketchy as hell.
Swimming trunks and giant afro with a weird swirl in it.
And come
Dude,
back
I
with
fucking
a bite
love
mark.
Toru.
As soon
Toru
as
is one
someone
of my favorite characters.
Yeah, as soon as someone mentioned that, like, Toru looks kind of like a matador, like, that just cleared up a whole lot of shit for me. Because his hair just looks like a matador's hat.
E-boy matador.
Oh my god.
He also has a stuffed animal on his shirt.
What? Okay. Isn't it fucking weird, right? That we don't know his last name.
It's just a Kefu.
What? That would be so stupid!
It would!
Yasuo knows...
Akafu's my grandfather.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Yasuo should... Yeah, like...
I can't believe
Yasuo
I
should know
dated
that.
you for like 2 years and didn't know your last name.
Well, I feel like... Because Satoru Akefu, right? Satoru... Like, I feel like maybe it's maybe it's gonna be an anagram. I don't know. Or...
People have been saying, like...
Tom Riddle.
Like, in English, it translates to... it's an anagram for Toru's a fake. But at the same time, I don't know if Araki, like, thought that... Like, when he was doing it. That seems more like a coincidence
English
if
version.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he does a lot of English-based stuff, but I don't think he's, like, doing an anagram in English. I don't know. Maybe.
Plus, actually...
I also feel the rock humans can just change the identities or whatever if they needed to. Like, just literally just get a new ID and, like, change their name. You know, that kind of stuff. I feel like if anybody could do that, it'd be them.
It's actually not... I don't think it's an anagram. Because Toru, his name is spelled technically with 2 O's, not TOU.
I don't know like how they did it, but yeah, someone.
Yeah, I don't know how strict
Said
that
that.
is, but it seems to be a specific word, so I don't know if that's flexible or not.
Maybe. I don't know.
I feel like Araki puts a lot of effort, at least in some breakdowns I've seen, with how he names characters based on like the kanji that's used.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
like,
yeah.
there's a
it
lot
seems
of that
like
in
it
part
would
4.
be. Yeah, it seems like it would be an oversight, or it would be like really weird if he like chose the anglicized version of the name and then made a like pun based on that. I don't know. I think that's a little harder for me to believe.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think Satoru Kefu, like, some of the meaning of the kanji kind of makes sense that it's like, I think it's like lost light or something like that. I forget what it was when I looked it up, but yeah, it seems like kind of like an illusion name. So, and I think Toru is like negative dragon. I don't know, something like that.
It's something like that, yeah. I don't know. I thought that maybe because I was, I thought that maybe it could be like I was thinking earlier. Is there any character that Josuke knows that Yasuho doesn't know? Who he could be
Carrera?
related to?
No.
Maybe like, do you know what I mean though? Like where he would know, like if Josuke knew his last name, he'd be like, oh, that's the brother of Gaginga. But Yasuho would never suss that out because she doesn't know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm trying to think if there's any.
Josuke feels
Unless
like such a
it's like
blank
Toru
slate still.
Kujo or some shit. Like,
Dude,
it's
that'd
only
be fucked.
it's only like something that the reader would gather any significance from.
Yeah. Well, no, I think Josuke would because Joseph Mikujo.
Oh yeah, he does know Josephumi's name.
Yeah.
It's hard to gather like what he does and doesn't know about Kira and Josephumi because like of the way that the Vitamin C arc is structured. Like he has the facts and he knows that Demo was using Josephumi Kujo's name as an alias, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not really clear.
Carrera was our lead into that, and she hasn't been seen for like I don't know how long now. Like
Yeah,
I was
she's
really
another
hoping
character.
I was really hoping
sorry.
she'd be in the prison.
Yeah, me too. I really like the theory that she would show up with the Planet Praiser with her eye.
And they just go to the hospital or break out. But no.
Carrera's probably going to come back at some point because her last line is "I'll be back," basically, something like that.
I mean,
She feels kind of like an epilogue character to me. Like I think we'll
Yeah, I
like
feel the
when
same.
once everything wraps up, I feel like she'll rear her ugly head again.
Okay, so since we're
Hey.
kind of not really discussing the ending of JoJolion, do you think there's going to be something similar to part 4, where like everyone that's relevant, everyone we know, comes together at the very end?
Probably. Or
Yeah.
at the very least, I think that most characters will be given some sort of conclusion.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
think they'll just be left in the dust.
one character will be like Shingeki and just literally die, and then no one really mourns him as much.
Actually,
they're
now
all,
that
like,
I think of
for
it,
chilling.
how many like major characters who aren't villains have actually died in JoJolion?
Major characters who aren't villains.
Kyo, well,
Does-
Kyo died.
Kyo
Yeah.
faded from existence.
Yeah, she's super dead. Ojiro, does Ojiro count?
I don't know. Well, he's like a villain. I guess like he's
Saijo
He's
in turn,
kind
like,
of
have any-
Josuke's ally, though,
have any
in a weird
allies
way.
died? Like
I feel like no. I think this part has done a really good job at compared to part 4 of keeping the like actual cast, like the good guy, quote unquote good guy cast, pretty like relevant at least. Like I know that we haven't really seen Daya do anything
Yeah.
for a very long time,
And
but
he should-
she's still there.
Right.
Unlike in part 4 where some characters are just like more there for like this whole feel of adding an eclectic town.
well,
So we don't really need everyone to show back up, but
right.
like yeah, I can't really think of any characters that have died. Even like a character like shit, I lost my train of thought.
I mean, I
but-
think
yeah.
by the end we're gonna see at least Norisuke and Rai die. I don't see them making it out at all.
I don't know. Rai can literally like survive being like literally unwrapped completely.
Yeah, but his name is Mamazuku Rai,
he
as
just gets
in
burned.
When Mermaids Cry, which it's absolutely talking about a sailor who goes and basically dies. That's
I
his
feel like
namesake. And then he's
everybody
also a dog.
Well, technically,
Like,
Josuke's named
he has
after a
so
dog,
many
too.
death flags.
Dude,
Josuke?
Oh shit.
how fucked would it be if Jobin dies in like the next chapter? Because he's like fucking with the head doctor. What if he starts the next chapter dead?
What do we even do at that point?
What do
I
we
would
do?
fucking
Every
die. I
theory
would die.
out the fucking window, dude. Oh my god.
I feel the equivalent was like Rai is gonna be like, oh no, it can't be Rai died again. It'd be guy live bitches every time. It'd be a different district every time he gets hit.
I turned
thing-
the string that I am composed of into more string.
Hey,
I
mean,
stuck
don't forget.
myself into your pocket.
Gappy's
fucker.
cord.
Don't forget Gappy's bubbles are actually made of like
Cords.
Tiny strings.
So he'll
Oh,
wrap the
boy.
planet appraiser up into bubbles and throw them at people.
Oh no! Come
But then the
on.
planet praiser comes back and he's like a bubble, like he's all like bloated
He's
and like
Bubble Buddy.
a big fat round guy now. That'd be funny.
Can't
What's
wait.
the point
Well,
of the string?
well, I thought people were talking about like, do you think Kyo missing from like the family photo is like a huge like something related to a stand of her getting like wiped from existence or something? Like
I mean,
that?
I've heard the theory that it's like a property of Kato stand that anything that's stuck in her cards is like wiped from existence. I don't think that's what's actually happening there. I think it's just Araki removed Kyo because the focus of that scene was on the Higashikata family.
Yeah.
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 I think that's more likely because that kind of power is like Bohemian Rhapsody
That-
levels of like universe bending.
That
Just the
power-
fact that
Yeah.
she could just like
The
remove
power-
a person from everyone's memories.
The power very similar in One Piece like that too. Where like you just wipe someone from existence and just like I think that's a crazy ass power if you
Yeah,
actually is.
that's really overpowered.
But
So one thing that I wrote down a few little notes of like things that I wanted to. I kind of was trying to gather like compared to every other part, like what are some of the mainstays of JoJo endings? Like what are some of the big things? And one thing that caught to my attention was the idea of there being like a big surprise reveal. Like there's always some sort of big surprise, whether it be like the Diego world reveal, Emperor being the one that actually beats Pucci. There's always something at the very end that's like kind of crazy.
yeah.
So I'm trying to think of like what would be the crazy thing at the end here. My first idea would be a Jobin Kato fusion, which I called Katobin.
Okay,
Which
that's something that I've considered a lot because it would make sense for the two of them to essentially like they're the characters that have the most focus from a like villain perspective, and just fusing them
Yeah.
together would make a lot of things simpler. But also at the same time, if it resembles Gappy's fusion in any way, that really like removes a lot of motivation for the character that comes about from it.
Yeah, it'd be like Thanos during Endgame. It's like I don't even know who you
Ooh.
fuckers are.
Yeah, it's-
Why am I fighting you even?
That's a really good point. Yeah, I didn't think in my mind I was just like, oh, they would immediately like have the same goals and their goals would be aligned. But yeah, if they just became a new person like Gappy is, and
Then again,
would be
we don't
weird.
know what the new fruit does.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like
Thank
even
you for
if
bringing that up.
strip away the whole amnesia thing that Gappy had to go through, I feel like they have a new identity entirely, and the fact that they would just both follow the identities, both follow Jobin and Kato's goals would kind of like mess with Gappy's arc a bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think that's really what's gonna happen.
I feel like if any two characters do merge, it's going to happen at the very end, and it's going to almost be like a repeating, like the cycle beginning anew or something.
Like it'll be a consequence of something else happen rather than like a main plot point.
Yeah, like, or
Consequence to
it'll
end the
be
cycle.
like this character was going to die, but you know they were brought back and they don't have memories, but this is the at least some semblance of them lives on or whatever.
a weird way. The
I
cycle
don't know. I
breaks.
just think it's really important for Gappy's arc that he's the only one that has to go through this. Because
Sure,
it
yeah,
kind
absolutely.
of it reaffirms the whole point of he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know what kind of person he is, and he doesn't have anyone to go to about this. And
Mhm.
like that's kind of what makes it so like heartbreaking for him, because he doesn't have anyone to relate to in this. Although if you ended it off with him being able to teach someone else about that whole kind of thing, then maybe that could work. I don't know.
Yeah. I do get what you're saying though.
Yeah, it
Oh,
still has
all right,
stupid,
all right.
like-
Since we're talking about like Gappy's identity at this point, like I wasn't gonna go through this whole thing without even mentioning it once. Gappy getting a stand evolution with King in its name. I
Yes.
feel like this has to happen at some point.
I feel like yes. I don't want to speculate about what the name is because like
Right. Like
I feel like
that's fair, but like
there's
I
so
feel
many names
like
that could make sense, and it's probably just going to be something dumb that makes no sense and has no relevance to anything. So
Yeah.
King Soft and Wet.
oh, fuck you.
I still have my crazy theory. It's just more, not even more for the story impact, just for the panel shot of it. Just him having Killer Queen and Soft and Wet like next to each other. Like,
I don't like that, like the idea of him dual wielding Soft and Wet and Killer Queen at all, because it just it ruins the whole idea of him being his own person.
Yeah.
I understand that. I'm just thinking about just having that one panel shot of it, just to make readers like freak out, and then I just be like, oh yeah, it's
maybe
gone
we'll
now.
get like a.
I
Maybe
I
we'll
feel
get,
like in the
like, a,
moment that would be hype, but it would ruin everything else about JoJolion.
We'll get like
I
a
know.
Teen Gohan moment where it's like the
Yeah.
father son Kamehameha, where it's like they're both. He gets his new stand and it's completely his original stand, and then we have Soft and Wet and Killer Queen behind him, cheering him on from the sideline.
You know,
No,
that's
Little
kind of hype.
chibis.
It's
All
like
right, so I had
Gohan.
this. I had this idea at the back of my head when I was when I still thought, all right, maybe Gappy will get King Crimson. Of like, it's just King Crimson, but he has two epitaphs with its eyes closed to represent Josefumi and Kira.
Ah,
But
Didn't
like,
people think Tsurugi was gonna get King Crimson?
yeah,
I heard
all right.
that too.
So like, this whole thing comes from Tsurugi during the beginning of the Ojiro arc, where at some point when they're by the fountain, Tsurugi's kind of like half asleep, and then his stand just goes a bit crazy and causes the baby to start drowning in the water, and it's not entirely clear what happened, but later on when he's at the tree, the meditation pine with Ojiro just suddenly like teleports onto the branches as if he was
Yeah, it feels like
continuously
time skips,
changing.
kind
It
of.
feels like time skips, but I feel like that's kind of misdirection. Like it's weird. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, but like
Yeah, there's also like, the weird way Tsurugi acts in like the right before the fruit ripens.
the body reveal.
Yeah, the body reveal.
Yeah, when we the flash forward that we saw in like what was it, chapter 83?
Yeah, just
82?
nothing
the
bad
new
happened,
Rokakaka, I
everything
think it's called.
Stone faced.
Yeah, I do think that if
Yeah, 83.
Tsurugi has King Crimson, it's going to be a weird like bastard, not like in the bad way, but like a weird remixed version of King Crimson, kind of.
Oh,
like
absolutely,
because
because it's not related to Diavolo anymore.
Well, because in a lot of senses, the original King Crimson was just a punching ghost that could also, if it wanted to, fuck with time. Like, but now in JoJo, I feel like it's evolved so much beyond that that would feel really out of place. So having it be something called King Crimson that resembles King Crimson, but has a similar in spirit ability without all the like punch ghosts, yada yada, mega powerful thing baggage,
Right.
I guess.
Donut punching arm.
Okay, so here's the thing. I think the reason like me and so many others were stuck on this idea of King Crimson returning is because the world has returned and Killer Queen has returned. So like
Yeah.
the only real returning stands have been main villain stands, and it just felt like, okay, if this trend continues, then when's King Crimson going to arrive? We have a whole family of characters with King in its name, so
Yeah,
like, is that a connection there? But
Makes sense.
there's no like equivalent Diavolo character in this, while the other characters were basically like, all right, Diego is just Dio. Kira is a good guy, Kira. But there's no Diavolo in this kind of part.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Well,
like, what... It doesn't
I feel
really
like
work.
Our universe, this universe version of Kira, right, is like, he's not Kira. He's a different guy.
He's
Yes.
basically,
But
like...
he has similar
yeah.
qualities, and we see why he would have something like Killer Queen.
It's
he's-
basically just the original Killer Queen, but it doesn't care about, like, being stealthy at all. And I think that really reflects JoJolion Kira a lot.
Well,
It's
yeah.
like hyper precision too. It's like
Yeah.
he can like shrink them down and make them
Kira-
like target specific things.
JoJolion Kira is like he's still a narcissist, but he's less impulsive. He's more precise, but sort of at his heart, he's a similar-ish character. He has similar sort of desires. He just doesn't want to fucking kill people. So like I feel like having a character who's like Diavolo, but who isn't just Diavolo, like I feel like you could have a character who is extremely careful about their own identity, somebody who like is extremely protective of their self, who's very self-preservation minded.
It's gonna be Toru.
Could be Toru.
I was thinking that it felt like Tsurugi was like developing a second personality, and that's what it's gonna be.
I
Like, Tsurugi will
don't
be, like, the
necessarily think that's
Doppio.
what's going on with Tsurugi. I think he's just becoming really conflicted because his dad's doing all this awful shit, and he feels like he's going to die soon, and he doesn't know what's right. And that's kind of just made worse by the rock disease.
I'm just waiting for Tsurugi to hear a phone ring and then just walk over to a frog and like talk
Mushy
to him.
mushy Tsurugi.
I mean, he does make paper frogs that
Yeah.
jump around.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, and I just like I feel like if that happened, it's gonna be like that way because just how his stand is acting on its own. It's like how King Crimson was kind of its own character,
Right.
Yeah.
more so than Diavolo.
I think King Crimson is kind of like a parasite of its own on Doppio. Although, like, it wasn't really made clear if it was, like, originating from Doppio or, like, some foreign entity. The devil, like, cursing Doppio or something like that. But, like, I could see something similar happening in JoJolion where, like, a normally, like, fine character kind of breaks a little and the result is King Crimson. I don't know. I feel like Tsurugi, his stand is changing in some way. It's just not entirely clear what's going on. The idea that I had was maybe Tsurugi's stand changing is going to be something more along the lines of Silver Chariot Requiem, where rather than it being a boon, it'll just cause like disaster and be a problem for the rest of the cast to deal with.
Calamity.
Yeah, like basically one calamity ends and another begins.
Yeah, it really feels like. So the one thing that I'm sure most people who are reading JoJo right now are just so fixated on that flash forward that we got, and trying to put the pieces together now that we're slowly getting this drip feed of information.
Right, we're
The
getting
one
close
thing
to
that I'm
it.
still like, the one thing that I'm still like hung up on is Tsurugi's behavior there, and him using Nut King Call, or seemingly like being able to take control of Nut King Call. Because I had a theory back like 10, 15 chapters ago, not 15, 10, but so that Tsurugi was going to develop the ability to utilize other people's stands against their will.
Wait,
And
when did
it
he
doesn't
use Nut King
seem-
Call?
Alright, so during the flash forward, Joshu uses Nut King Call to unscrew his tongue and lick Hato's ear, but he doesn't seem to know what's going on with that. Like, it doesn't
We
seem to
also
have been his
see-
own intention to do so. And then Tsurugi steps on his tongue that fell to the ground. And
So
that
we don't
distracts
see
everyone,
who is
so-
holding the tongue, but based on the positioning of where the characters are, Tsurugi is right in the position closest to Daya. So maybe I'm drawing a bit of a.
I think it was Hato that he was
speculation.
sitting next to.
Oh shit! Was it hot? Wait, hold on. I'm gonna check right now.
And I also have the thing of
hold
like
on.
Daya maybe getting her stand used like to wipe their memories. of
Remove
what
memories.
happened.
Yeah.
Like what just happened with Jobin did.
Yeah, I think that's something that like I discounted for a long time because I just kind of wrote Daya off as like, okay, she's not really going to play too much of a part, but her stand is like super good at making people forget things. So
Yeah, and I do know, like, everyone and their mom has pointed out that, like, I'm pretty sure Daya's chess pieces are seen during the flash forward at some point.
Huh.
Yep,
Like-
I think it's like the panel before the family portrait.
all right, sorry, I lied. It's not Daya who gets her tongue licked. It is Hato.
Yes.
And I'm gonna post the panel
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
Hato.
Okay.
Tsurugi is literally sitting right next to her ear. So in my mind, it's like there, without a shadow of a doubt, it has to have been Tsurugi that's the person that was wielding the tongue of Joshu.
And then
Hold
Joshu
on,
just
I'm
has
waiting
like
to see it.
his cheeks full for some reason the whole time, as if his tongue's
Yeah, he's like
gone.
drinking something. I'll try and get that panel too. Joshu is like drinking something, and it makes it seem like he has no idea that his stand is being used.
Yeah. He's
All right,
just
so
confused.
there's 3 panels of Tsurugi where it's like Toko Toko with like implying that like they're hearing something upstairs where Narusuke is, and it has Tsurugi look up and then step on the tongue. So it seems deliberate on his part. And
Yeah,
it's
that was
right
the other big
after
thing.
Daya mentions to call Narusuke down from downstairs from upstairs. So
Because I feel like Joshu admits, or like he acts like an asshole when he like actually does something like that with like any of his abilities, where
Yeah.
he didn't really seem to react to being accused.
He also is somehow able to talk with a mouthful of water and no tongue.
It's called ventriloquism,
Also-
Jim.
Also,
God.
when Tsurugi does step on his tongue, it looks like he's saying bruh, but it's not quite bruh.
Oh my
it's
god,
almost
please.
bruh.
Please.
Hold on.
post it.
So,
Bah.
Bruh.
I just posted in the
Bah.
chat.
bruh.
Bruh.
So I just had a big brain idea. What if none of the part 5 stuff that's gonna happen in part 8 is gonna be saved for part 9 because the child of Gappy and Yaja will have 2 dads technically.
wait, what was
And it'll
that?
be
It kind of got
Giorno.
cut off.
Yeah, I think you cut off. I want to read
Okay,
that.
I said part 9 is gonna be the child of Gappy and Yasho because it's gonna be the Giorno equivalent because he has 2 dads of Kira and Chofu.
And then it's
Ah.
also the Jolie. All right, I think I mentioned in the Q&A I did. I had this idea of the part 9 protagonists being twins, Gio and Joe.
Oh my God.
Giorno and Jolene. That way, like, it's both like kind of an AU Golden Wind and Stone Ocean.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, they're just like the direct descendants of Gappy.
And
I really like
and
that
then Gappy
idea.
will come in and beat the final villain for them.
Oh, God.
I do
'Cause,
know
like,
that my
It's
my
an...
you talk. Speak.
Professionals.
Okay, so a lot of people don't seem to realize this very much, but Gappy is just as much Jotaro as he is Josuke.
Yeah.
I think people get hung up a lot on the fact that his name is Josuke Higashikata, but his 2 composites are 1, Kira Yoshikage, who is the son of Holly Joestar Kira, and 2, Josefumi Kujo, whose last name is Kujo. So
Yeah.
He just has his hair. He just has Josuke's hair, kind of.
Well, we
Kind
don't
of.
know that yet.
No, well, I'm just saying the flashback he had.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Josephumi does.
And when Gappy gets goofy, he kind of has Josuke's goofiness.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
think that like JoJolion being sort of this pillar of JoJo, I can see an argument being made that Gappy isn't really any singular character being reimagined, but he's almost like a crockpot of every single JoJo like main character.
I think
There's
that's the main
a-
intention of
Yeah.
Araki, because like this whole thing is about Gappy being his own character, despite his various influences, and that meshes perfectly with it being an AU, Stardust Crusaders, and Diamonds Unbreakable.
Yeah.
Like Johnny was like his own character, like not just Jonathan. He
He was basically the anti-Jonathan, and now Gappy is a composite of all these different Joestars.
Yeah, he's got like the brutality, he's got like the lightheartedness, the untrustworthiness to some extent.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's arguably one of the most different just in his character.
Yeah, for sure.
he's the best CQC fighter out of all the Joestars.
He's
He
just such
punched both of the twins in the face.
Yeah.
such a weirdo. Like, I think it's underestimated just how much of like a weird nerd he is.
I don't
shaving
think people
scene.
underestimate. I think that's the only thing people latched onto
Yeah.
with him.
Well, he's like in real life. If you met Gappy, he'd probably be extremely off-putting. Like he's just kind of like.
I mean,
he
I mean,
was
yeah,
very
but at the
weird.
same time, he's like super charismatic too.
Absolutely, yeah.
hey man,
But also very go with the flow.
Yeah.
Yasha's first meeting with him being like naked and like you got to see the full package.
I think my favorite one is him sleeping under the mattress.
I love
Yes.
that.
I
And
love
then-
that. I love that he does that.
and then
Him
he
not
looks
understanding that you could sleep on a mattress.
Up, and then he looks up at Yasuho, grins, and says, "Grin." That is fucking.
I forgot that's a speech puzzle.
It's kind of like what a beautiful duang. Chew.
Chew.
And that's especially great because it feels like I don't think Kira and Josefumi were like that. I think that's just from him being underground for so long. That's why he loves pressure. That's
That's a
him.
really good connection. And all the oxygen that didn't get to his brain while he was trapped under there.
Oh god.
Oh my. I don't know. I still kind of wish like with Kia they would go into like him just having like a sister, maybe going into that, but they didn't. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I really wish that like
Grin.
Especially with all the like family like themes in this.
Yeah, I mean, of course the part's not over yet, but my biggest complaint might be how Kyo is underutilized. I feel like Kyo should be way more like communicative with Gappy, and I don't know. I feel
Especially
like he's
with
such
Holly.
a connection to her. Yeah, with
like I've been talking this up so many times. I made like a bunch of different things about it, but like Kyo absolutely should have been like his essentially Okuyasu. It should have been the
Yeah.
one at like his
Kyo Nijimura.
like as opposed to his best friend like Okuyasu was to Josuke, to be like his partner in finding out what's going on with like his identity.
Yeah,
The one
Because it
person we trust in the
absolutely
house.
concerns her. And where is she right now? Like when Holly is getting involved with all this stuff at the Teaching University Hospital, why isn't she involved with that?
right. It's especially striking me as weird, like, even without the legacy of JoJo and the fact that her name's Nijimura, like, just in JoJolion, she is Gappy's sister,
Yeah,
and, like, that never comes up. And, like,
Yep.
Holly is, like, he's racked with grief over the fact that his mom is dying. But, like, his sister is in a house with a fucking murderer. And he's just like, whatever. I don't even give a shit, bro.
She should be his like number one source of like
Yeah.
information of the estate.
Or there should at least be some sort of emotional tension there, but there's, like,
Yeah.
nothing. And
it
is
stands
really
out so
frustrating.
much. It stands out so much specifically because this part is so big on family.
Yeah, definitely.
It's about family.
It's about family.
So I guess speaking
Except
of this,
you,
so
Kato.
so what
Or
we
Kyo.
think is what happened to Holly like in the end.
She's dead.
That's a really big question. 'cause
I
feel
think
like,
she's dead.
yeah, I think she's kind of like doesn't have hope. I feel like there's no hope for bringing her back.
Yeah.
I think there is hope, and that's the worst part about it. I think
Yeah.
that the new Jokakaka could absolutely heal her, but she still is going to die just because Gappy needs to move on from his predecessors. And
She's gonna die of a cold.
Oh my god, she died of coronavirus.
oh no, don't,
Oh.
don't.
What if she like? 'Cause she has to have a stand. By the way, too.
All right.
She just shows up and uses her stand like once and then dies.
I talked a little bit about this on Twitter the other day. So like, there's a lot of like they established during Chapter 58, Dawn at the Higashikata House, that there's a lot of parallels between Gappy's relationship with his mother and Jobin's relationship with his mother, and like a lot of people have been suggesting over time that maybe Kato is not necessarily a king stan, but a queen stan, to show that she's kind of neglected her Higashikata side.
Mm.
And so, like, we have Killer Queen as one character in this part, but there's two other songs that Queen has made with Queen in its title. And I'm thinking that, Holly is going to be the White Queen as her stand, and Kato is going to be the Black Queen.
I heard people saying Kaito just queen. It was just gonna be her stand.
Right, I'm not sure I like that as much
I don't like that
because
either.
it's like Killer Queen is already the queen stand because it has sheer heart attack and bites the dust. But
Well,
if it's like,
I've always thought Queen of the Stone Age makes
yeah,
sense.
I do really
That'd be
I like
great.
that way more, but I think it's more likely that it's just going to end up being the like White Queen or Black Queen, unless, you know, Kato does end up being a rock human somehow.
What if Holly
Yeah.
disappears with Star Platinum?
That would be fucking Cocoa Bananas.
I think I'd hate that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd like that.
What if they absolutely like, the madman did that? the world appearing.
I mean, I hate to just to totally discount it, but I guess it would just be all an execution. Like,
Yeah.
Holly,
there's also the chance
Holly's
that she
stand
has, like,
is just the vines that the original Holly
Yeah.
had, except
Hey.
now it's weaponized.
I mean, with a lot of plants in this part, I can just totally see like her actually being a plant controlling stand. Like it's just a mirror. Her part 3 back stand.
There was this one theory that I saw a long time ago on Reddit that, like, I'm really disappointed now that it didn't end up being the case. But it was that Holly was, when she was eating the Jokakaka, that those bites that she was making caused the bite marks to appear on people, and that's how people got stands. But, like, there's no way
Yeah.
that's the case anymore because we know that, like, a lot more about what her disease was doing. But yeah,
This
I
part
thought that was really cool, and I'm disappointed it never happened.
There's been a lot of weird emphasis on like biting stuff, with like Toru eating his food the last chapter, and like Gappy trying to eat like the
Well,
one
everyone
snack.
eats off the floor.
Yeah,
Everybody's a goblin.
Toru eating off the fucking concrete, eating his Burger King off the concrete was so disturbing.
he had a box. Don't worry about it.
I'm just imagining like a house party filled with like JoJolion characters, and like they're all
The
like,
table's
hey,
completely empty.
the table's empty, and they're just all eating off the fucking floor, crouching like Slavs. Just,
And as
like,
you're
fucking...
leaving, he ties the trash to your back pocket or something, and you just walk away with a full bag of
Oh my
trash.
God.
Oh god,
I miss Ojiro. I wish he didn't die.
I love Ojiro.
I'm
My
really
gremlin
happy that he
son.
ended up being super relevant though.
Yeah, that was the coolest thing, because everyone, when that chapter happened, everyone was like, oh, Ojiro came back for nothing? What a waste. And it's like, no, this was
I
extremely
remember
important.
people just being impressed that Araki like brought back a character like Ojiro.
Once Ojiro like, appeared, I'm like, okay, he's not gonna introduce like any more new characters really, unless they're like a horrifying human side characters there to get like brutally murdered, and there it was in the jail. Was that random side character that gets brutally murdered? It's a horrible person.
I mean, he kind of had it coming.
I mean, yeah, but every bystander or not stand user is like just as disgusting monster as like the stand users.
That is weird. I didn't notice that, but like, yeah, now that I think about it, I can't think of any other characters who aren't like that.
Jolene's boyfriend, I think,
He was also-
he didn't look like
Yeah,
a
but
horrible
he
freak.
started out as
And he's also
like
a horrible person.
a horrible person, yeah, and like,
Yeah, that's
who
true.
betrayed
Remember the,
Jolene,
what was it,
even
the
if he did
senator?
regret it later.
The senator in part 3 that Dio makes run over a bunch of people.
I mean,
Yeah, I
that
guess
guy
that
was-
makes him a horrible person.
That guy seemed like a dick, but like, it kind of just felt bad for him.
Like,
Yeah.
probably the most, like, Josuke's grandfather in part 4 is probably, like...
Yeah, that's
least
probably the
deserved.
only one, actually. Poor Grandpa Higashikata.
Rip and roast.
I guess
Alright, who's the AU Grandpa Higashikata?
God.
Dolomite.
Sure.
Sure. I believe it. There's no cops in part 8 that have been good.
Oh,
Most
God,
cops in
you're right.
JoJo haven't been good at all.
Yeah, I remember part 2 is like my favorite interaction with a police officer in all of fiction. When he
The bottle cap?
blows a bottle
Yeah.
cap in his face.
I love that, especially since they bring it back at the very end to do the same thing to Cars.
Oh, it's so good.
And the
so
one
good.
the one decent cop in part 5 gets body swapped with a criminal, so he becomes a horrifying monster. Then he gets disfigured for his life.
It's great.
They're just I feel sorry for being a human. I think the worst thing is to be a human inside the JoJo universe.
Oh, it would suck. It would absolutely suck. No
Yeah,
thanks.
I've always been surprised by how little there is about like what it's like to just be a normal fucking person in this weird ass world.
No, Smokey was before Stanley, and I guess in part 3 is the most like not horrible person human that's just also in there.
She's pretty shitty in a lot of ways.
But she doesn't
Who,
end up horrifically like
and the girl that they
And the
meet
girl,
on
yeah.
the boat.
I guess
The one who appears and then just leaves.
she gets
Yeah,
off.
she's
My
gone.
favorite character.
She got off easy, man, compared to like other humans.
She really did. She hardly scarred, hardly horrified, almost destroyed by a orangutan, but
Yeah.
she got away from that.
She got better.
She got better.
I guess.
Yeah.
Any other major things like by the end, like Jobin Should we talk about Jobin and Mitsuba and that whole thing going in?
Yeah, I think Mitsuba is a really fascinating character
She's a
because she
wild
feels
card.
like she could like pivot anyway at this point. Like
Yeah.
obviously, her actions in the last chapter made it seem like okay, she's going bad, but her genuine fear of the head doctor, I think, is like a really important aspect of her character and like how she'll fall.
She feels super conflicted with like everything.
Okay, so like I feel like at some point we're going to approach a Higashikata civil war, and it feels like alright, so the equivalent to Gappy is obviously Jobin. Like they're
Yeah.
basically equivalents. So the equivalent to Kato is Holly, and then the equivalent to Mitsuba is Yasuho, which is why they like were interacting for the whole Doctor Wu arc. So that we
makes
could
sense.
establish that. And then yeah, like so I feel like either Yasuho and Mitsuba are gonna go at it or they're going to team up.
She'll be
They're
the Black
they're
Widow.
going to
it's the
start
latter.
interacting again though, I think.
She'll be the Black Widow and turn sides like in the middle of it.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't want.
get that
I want Mitsuba to be good. I don't want
love
Mitsuba to
her.
hurt Yasuo. I love Yasuo and I love Mitsuba.
Same.
Yeah,
Mitsuba's like one of my favorites.
like I like that Mitsuba is kind of like a terrible person a bit, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, she does the right thing. I like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
she's like conflicted. Like, okay, I don't know if we talked about
She cares
this.
about her baby boy.
I don't know if we talked about this last time, but I think I made a post about it. Where like everyone's like shitting on Yasuho for like wanting the Jokakaka for herself. Why the
Yeah, that's
fuck would
totally
she?
fair. Yeah,
Like, literally
She's
crawling.
about like no, this isn't like
She's dying.
This isn't
She's literally
shonen
cracking.
bullshit. This
She's
isn't
literally
shonen
cracking.
bullshit where you're like the mission is the most important. I'm willing to lay down my life for this mission for this guy who clearly doesn't even fucking trust me anymore. I'm gonna.
I mean,
fucking
yeah,
die.
she did say that she was gonna do that, but like, who cares at that point?
You're
Yeah,
missing an
right?
arm. You're cracking, and you like basically like drowning, not in water. Like you
Drowning
you
in
would-
air.
Yes, you would.
She's
want
been
to-
suffering long enough to
Yeah.
be at the
Yeah.
point where she's like, I want to survive.
Please, like it is the one thing that can make me survive.
Yeah, like I
And
feel
then,
like everyone's
like,
just
especially
expecting her to
since-
can be completely selfless.
Yeah,
Mhm.
especially since like Gappy didn't respond to her, Rai didn't respond to her. Like, she's basically alone by herself now. Fuck them. Who cares?
She's calling.
That is a good point.
She's calling Toru for fuck's sake.
Yes,
Her-
like
her phone
when you
went to
have to
Toru
rely
first.
on Toru, you know you're fucked.
Didn't her stand like connect her to Toru first?
Yeah, it shows Toru.
It didn't
Paisley
choose
Park.
Dog Turd or Banana
Did it?
Peel. It chose Toru.
So that is Dog Turd.
Yeah, Toru. is Dog Turd.
Toru's dog turd confirmed.
Is Joshi Banana Peel then?
Yes. You seen that hair? Of course he is. Come on.
Oh yeah, and his
Oh,
first
fuck,
introduction,
yeah.
he slips around.
It all
Or
adds
he
Oh
up.
does.
god, they do resemble that. Shit.
Oh my
It's
God.
the worst of both worlds.
War. Oh my god.
Rocky knew.
Gappy takes off his hat and it's literally just a fucking banana peel. Oh my god.
Yeah, why didn't you choose Dog Turd, Yasha? Why would you do that? Why you not pick Banana
Oh my
Peel?
God. Actually, wait, have any of you guys played Ebe? That one, like, old RPG Maker horror game?
Eve?
Yeah,
Sound-
hold on.
No.
This is so fucking this is
Not
an
Parasite
underrated-
Eve, is it?
No, it's
No.
like IB.
Ib.
Oh, nah. I'm not a big horror game. It's not like Resident Evil.
No, yeah,
The only RPG Maker game I ever played was a Neutral Milk Hotel fan game, and it was pretty funny, so I'll stop.
one of the
Can't
main
remember.
characters has hair like this.
Like this.
In
Points at head.
there it is. That's what Gappy's hair is.
Oh,
gonna
that's the
look like.
banana
He's got
peel,
a
all right.
Fucking
Banana
banana
peel.
peel on top of his head.
Oh my god.
That'd be so funny. That is kind of the craziest mystery, and like, it honestly wasn't until your video, Aeonstar. I haven't like been addressing you, Aeon. I guess I'll
Just
call you
Aeon's
Aeon.
fine, yeah, whatever. Who
Aeon.
cares?
Peter.
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 Oh, sorry. That really set me off. It wasn't until your video where I was like, wow, yeah, there really is a mystery to Gappy's hair. Like,
Right, I got
we
a lot of
haven't seen him
responses
without
saying
the
that,
hat.
like, okay, but Johnny had his hat on the whole time besides in the flashback, and Jotaro has on most of the time. It's really, and Mista, he never takes his hat off. But at the same time, Araki didn't draw as much attention to it for them. Gappy has his hat off a lot, but it never shows it when he does.
Jotaro does
Yeah.
take his hat off a couple times in part 3.
Right, and it shows
Yeah.
it.
And if you want to see the realistic version, you look up the set photos from the part 4 movie of the guy.
Oh
getting
god,
hair to fit the
he's
hat.
just
Oh my
like
God.
bald through the middle. I love that so much.
so bad.
God, it's fucking Heihachi Mishima looking ass.
Oh my, it really,
It
really
totally is. Holy shit.
But yeah,
And Mizuma's also pregnant, by the way. Like,
oh yeah.
Thanks for
I
reminding
feel
me, I
like
always
that's
forget.
gonna be relevant in part 9 and
Oh,
not
yeah,
at
like
all
the-
anywhere else.
I think a lot of
Jobro.
people forget the time scale of JoJolion is like 1 month at best. Like
Yeah.
it's a very short amount of time.
I mean,
The
part 9
time.
could be the.
Alright. I tried doing a timeline for this at one point, and I just stopped because none of the shit was making sense. Like,
It's really hard. It's really fucking hard.
Jim
You have to
tried
really
to.
like stretch your big brain as hard as it goes.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you do part 9, it could actually take place like for like the first time like in the future, like past like the year it's actually published.
it's done.
Yeah, 'cause
Araki
it's
has
funny-
done that a lot.
That's right, he did
That-
do that.
He did that for Stone Ocean. He did that for Golden Wind. He did that for Diamond is Unbreakable.
Oh yeah, I'm an idiot. I totally.
I
had
think
a
the
brain
only
fart.
exception was 1 through 3 and 7.
7, yeah. But part 8 is 2011, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
started
it's
publication.
It's the same year that it was started publication. Because
that's actually like the first
he
time he did
he
that. I was thinking of
wanted
that.
to do a part that took place at the same time as the earthquake and tsunami that took place in Japan, which is
Yes.
why it's a plot point early on.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why Japan looks like the wall's eyes, I guess. After
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah, haven't
roads.
you been to there in real life? It
No.
looks there's walleyes
I'm
everywhere.
working on it.
Yeah, Sendai has all those stand users running around. It's a nice tourist location. You gotta see it.
You can see like a man squatting over eating like ice cream like horrifically. Slurping it down.
It's all black and white as soon as you get there.
Yeah, they're slowly adding colored parts, slowly coloring one building at a
throwing
time.
paint. God.
So yeah, JoJolion, it is good.
Yeah.
No.
I eject.
Sucks.
Objection.
I feel. So I just want to say about like part 9 thing. I feel really weird speculating about part 9 like before because it like every other part has had such a crazy jump in like time. Sometimes it's really recent compared to the other one. Sometimes it's like really far. But after having this conversation, it really does feel like there are a lot of things like Mitsuba being pregnant, the fact that Josuke is like potentially could be a dad or could stick around. I think that'd be super cool to have like not so big a time jump, maybe like 10, 15 years. Like
Right,
have a,
I really
team
want
protag.
part 9 to just have the youngest protagonists and just have like a Bruno figure being Mitsuba's kid.
Yeah.
I love the idea of twins too. I think that's such a fun idea to have like
Yeah.
dual protagonists.
Yeah.
Awaken
I-
3 kings.
I really want to expand on that idea a bit and maybe make a video on it, but who knows?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think that I have the unpopular opinion of like, because I know a lot of people are like, oh man, I'd love to see a remake of part 5, part 6. My opinion, I want to see something completely fucking new. I don't like.
Same.
I love JoJolion and I love all the callbacks, right? But at this point, I feel like I've sort of grown out of the whole legacy, and I think anything beyond that would feel kind of fan servicey. I want to see like now that I'm really
Wait, are you
into
implying
JoJo,
that this whole thing hasn't seemed fan servicey from the beginning?
I know, but I want to see like a completely original story, something I haven't seen before yet.
I mean, it's a
I
good sign.
I get that, but at the same time, like, I feel like at this point we have this whole like kind of pseudo trilogy thing going on with JoJo, and I feel like Araki
I
would
will
just
fight you
kind
on
of
that.
wrap. All right,
I hate the pseudo trilogy idea. I think it's BS.
Fuck the format. Fuck the format. Do what you
Alright,
want.
alright,
Burn it
system.
down.
at the end of the day, Araki will just do whatever the hell he wants.
Hell
But I
yeah.
think he wants to
Thank
send
you.
off JoJo like the way he can, and to do that, I feel like he would need to make an AU version of Stone Ocean.
I mean,
like,
we got the
to-
prison from part 6 in part 8, and
That doesn't count.
I feel like he could do alternate universe shit without having to
wanna
involve
remake a
Stone
part
Ocean.
Here's the thing, like, for JoJo to get like a proper send off that completely like encapsulates that feels like it's like finishing what everything in the series has started. I feel like it would need to actually tackle the Golden Wind and Stone Ocean stuff in an AU format. Otherwise, like, it kind of feels weird that we have Diamond is Unbreakable and then no other AU stuff after that.
Well, I feel like
thinking of JoJo as one cohesive whole.
I feel like I almost disagree on that with the Stone Ocean one, because Stone Ocean already exists in and of itself to sort of draw the original universe to a conclusion. So it feels almost a little out of place in this universe, which is entirely different. At that point, it's less remaking Stone Ocean and more just drawing a conclusion that makes sense within this new context that everything's in.
Right. No, but I'm specifically saying Stone Ocean as in, like, the idea of Stone Ocean as a conclusion to the original universe. I feel like there has to be an equivalent in the new universe to wrap things up, because I don't think JoJolion is going to provide that overall cohesive conclusion.
I think that it would have to be like Stone Ocean in that it provides a sense of finality, but not in the sense that it has a character named Jolene Cujo. Like, I don't give a shit about that. Like, I know... Yeah.
I just feel like that's likely to happen at the end of the day, because we already have a Jotaro equivalent, and, like, his relationship with Yasuho is so prominent, and it just feels like that's what it's all leading towards.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but at the end of the day, Araki's going to do whatever he wants, and it's probably going to be better than whatever I think of, but...
Yeah.
He's going to end on JoJo Eyes of Heaven 2.
Oh, God.
No. Next-gen console, and that's how he's going to end it.
One thing that I really love about JoJo, and one thing that I kind of, like, wish that we would see if there is another part, is how Araki's totally willing to just drop everything from the previous part and maybe have, like, a Jotaro, like, one or two characters.
Like part 5,
like,
had Koichi show up.
I disagree with
the idea
that. Like, I don't think he does that a lot. Each part is its own cohesive story that is independent of the other parts, but it still feels like it's part of one bigger whole.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. But the thing that I like about that is that each story really does stand on its own.
Right.
Like, there is this, like, legacy aspect that adds to it, but it's not like he's ever, like, hindering himself, like, oh, well, the last part took place in Japan, so I need to make, or, like, whatever, part 1, England. Like, the last part took place in England, so I need to do that again. Like, no, he's willing to switch up the setting, the genre sometimes. I mean, of course, the inclusion of stands, and then, like, the new universe.
Right, absolutely. Araki just does whatever the hell he feels like it.
Yeah, like, and it really makes me like JoJo a lot, because you have these other series that have lasted forever, and they get, like, fatigue to them. But with JoJo, things are allowed to stay fresh in a really organic way. Except, like, the obvious, like, shonen battle thing, which is just part of its DNA, but everything else can kind of evolve and develop.
Yeah, it's kind of...
I'm just saying you can still do that while also making it like an AU Stone Ocean. Like, because that's what he's done for the last 2 parts.
No, I totally agree. I'm just saying this is something that... Because we like, the idea that I'd floated out before was this idea of part 9 being, like, a direct sequel, taking place, like, a very short amount of time, whereas it would be even cooler, in my opinion, if it was just something completely different with, like, obviously your JoJo themes layered in there, as they always are.
Right.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think for me that JoJo is about the same amount of chapters as, like, One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
And it has it has never gotten boring. Whatever the fuck it was at any given point in its life, it has never for a second been boring. Except for during certain parts of, like, I don't know, Stardust, I don't know.
Blue Lagoon.
Blue Lagoon.
Honestly, even Stardust, I'd say, is still really interesting, having gone back to it and appreciating it a bit more because of Heritage to the Future. Like, I really didn't like it the first time going through, but, like, I think I underestimated a lot of it. It's pretty
Stardust Crusaders?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam and I are doing a reread of that right now. Well, actually, technically, because I just watched the anime and haven't read it, so it's my first time reading it. But I am loving Stardust Crusaders way more than the anime. Like, I really had a bad first impression, but there's so much that I really enjoy in it.
The anime, like, the biggest issue with it is they made it 2 full seasons, when it really should have been the length of Diamond is Unbreakable and Vento Arreo.
which just feels so snappy. Like Diamonds Unbreakable just is like I just kept like after I was having
Sun
real
should
fatigue.
not have been a full episode.
Yeah,
I think we talked about that. Like,
Wait,
on
what
there,
shouldn't
too.
have been?
Sun.
the sun.
Oh yeah, fuck that. That was so stupid.
Sun is very stupid.
Ugh.
Can't wait to get to
I
it.
mean,
Check
I
out
like
our part
I
3
like the
rewatch
arc,
podcast,
but
everyone.
yeah,
Watch it.
But yeah.
So yeah, back to the end of JoJolion.
Oh yeah, I
Back
forgot
to
we had a
what
point
this
here.
podcast is about.
The what?
We're in a
wait,
podcast right now.
Are we recording?
I was building
I
Gundams.
thought we were just I thought we were just having a good conversation.
I was building Gundams while you guys were yelling at each other. Damn.
Are there any other like big things that we really want to focus on? Not saying that we have to wrap things up because I'm totally down to talk about whatever.
Yeah.
I kind of go.
There's
checking the
I have a
Discord
few
to see if
things.
anything like people brought up, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, actually,
Go
yeah,
ahead. I'm
check
looking.
that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I,
we
I
never-
went through all my tweet responses, so...
We never discussed the we discussed the flashback man, but we never discussed the bling bling baby.
The baby.
Oh,
What the fuck
alright.
are you talking about?
The baby.
All right, so I believe it is the chapter
Oh.
Morio year 1901, where Yasuho is looking at a newspaper article at the meditation point by the Higashikata estate.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
There's just this baby who got hypothermia, and the newspaper reported on it, and we know nothing else about it. And it had like a bunch of jewelry on it.
It's a boom boom baby.
Bling bling baby.
Oh,
And
I have
no
nothing to say.
opinion on 'em.
I have nothing to say. I'm waiting for the chips to
I
fall.
literally think
Alright.
it's like a weird like tabloid article that came up saying baby
no
watch the board.
fucking
Totally
way.
irrelevant.
no way. No way that shit just
God.
completely irrelevant. First of all, it happened the same year that Johnny died.
People want to bring up the rock that fell on Johnny a lot, thinking that's like
It was a Kefu.
Yeah, that was my initial thought. Same with poor Tom.
with the baby.
I feel like
being-
poor
No.
Tom was also killed
Could the
by.
baby be the
Dude.
doctor?
Akafu.
Oh, fuck!
What?
Oh, fuck! What if... Oh, my God.
89 years
What?
old, 89
Re-
years old,
no,
89 years old.
I'm gonna have my fucking big brain theory of the day.
Oh,
Aeon,
God.
remember when you were saying, what if, like, is Akifu, he is an illusion, but is he an illusion of a guy who actually existed? What
Right.
if Akifu did exist, and he was a rock human, and he was the head doctor, but he died of old age? Or he died of some other cause, and Toru is now carrying on his legacy and image.
Puppeting him around.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And the baby was Akifu. Or not.
All right,
But-
I don't think the baby could have been Akafu because, like, based on the timeline. All right, if rock human
human.
ages are proportional to human ages, he would have been like a teenager around the time the Steel Ball Run happened.
God, I'm
Or
a fucking
Akif-
genius.
Akafu
So-
takes off his scarf to reveal.
I don't know
Blaine.
if this baby is Akafu, but at the same time, like, I really like the idea that he's, like, just dead. The only thing is, I'm not, like, I think the whole reason people are like, all right, is he a real person and is he based on anything, is the conference where he speaks to people, and if he was dead, like, it wouldn't
Well, I
matter
just
in the
think-
first place.
I just think it makes more sense beyond that, because it's like, you know, it makes more sense for the big honcho to be this guy with hundreds of years of legacy instead of it just being this fucking punk who, like, this like guy fresh out of high school who's like, yeah, I'm gonna actually change the world. Like,
Wasn't the head doctor also
I-
just recently been the head doctor? Not like he wasn't there the entire
Yeah,
time.
like 2 years
Yeah.
prior.
So it's not like he was at the hospital the entire time.
No, he arrived and then immediately, like, when he got there, that's when Holly started being administered the Jokakaka.
Yeah.
So Holly was there longer than he was.
Yeah.
so my theory is right. So
He'll go to the office, hang up
Confirmed.
his jacket, and reveal he's wearing bling. That's what's gonna happen. And
He just
Jewelry,
reveals,
I
like,
recognize
80
jewelry
necklaces.
somewhere. Let's think about it for 3 chapters.
here's a flashback.
Meiji 34 in 1901 is.
I am
when
the
it
love
happened.
child of Diego Brando and some woman he had sex with on the way.
Oh yeah, alright, yeah, we need to discuss this. When's Diego coming back? We gotta have Dio in here somewhere, right?
Oh my god.
Diego's love child will appear, and he's the Leon Kennedy man.
Yo, literally fucking, like, Diego comes back. It's like, it's the same reveal of the world. Like, there's no...
Just again.
it's not
And I clap,
remotely
I clap.
interesting.
I clap again because I love it.
Like, Iraqi just completely loses his marbles. It's just fucking...
It's the world riding a raptor. That's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be an even better version of the world.
It's gonna be the universe. Ugh.
The universe over heaven. You gotta go all the way.
No.
The world is a monster.
I really hate the world over heaven. I don't like it at all.
I don't really know too much about it, TBH.
What?
I don't really know much about it.
It's just the main stand of Dio in Eyes of Heaven.
I know that it's like stupid and that it's like
It rewrites reality and all timelines.
Mm-hmm. But it can
To
only
the
do it
user's
with its
pleasing.
fucking fists.
no.
But also because Jotaro can develop the same kind of stand.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that shit doesn't make any sense. That's not how it worked in the original. What the fuck?
Dio did so much hard work to get there, and Jotaro's like, "Oh, I can do it."
It's the same
it's literally
stand.
like-
Shortcut.
It's like fucking, it's like Goten. Like,
Yeah.
just being able to be Super Saiyan when he's like 2 years old because his mommy made him angry.
The Goten. Oh, I saw Goku go Super Saiyan 3. That means I can go Super Saiyan 3.
Oh my god, that's so
It's a feeling in your back.
As Vegeta goes angry and like bleeds from his nose, sheer stress. Oh my
If
God.
you like focus your center in the back of your body, then you can just unlock the world over heaven.
Hell yeah.
I just feel sorry for Dio because like he learned all these new powers for if he got like the world of Requiem and then like Jojo like, oh, I can develop that even without the arrow because I same kind of stand as me. Fuck you.
Eyes of Heaven was some fan fiction bullshit.
That game's also like Jotaro getting the shiny moment, not like all the Joestars together fighting Dio would have been.
Well, yeah,
awesome.
he's a big popular one.
but Giorno and Johnny with like their ultimate stands.
Who cares about them? They're not popular. They're not marketable.
Sad. Cry.
Just Jotaro, and then Jolene loses the game of poker. You have to be saved by Jotaro. Oh man, I'm gonna do a whole episode about Eyes of Heaven.
Oh.
Oh my god.
I would love to do a Let's Play of it, actually, because I've never done a Let's Play, and that's one of my like childhood goals, is to do a Let's Play of something. So that'd be fun, I guess.
Sure, you can see every character get pushed back to irrelevancy to Jotaro.
Eyes of Heaven is a good game, but like, there's a lot of
Cool
stuff in
fan
it that's
service.
like, I'm not a big fan of the whole arena fighter kind of thing.
Yeah.
I prefer
All-Star
2D
Battles way
tournament.
cooler.
All-Star
Yeah.
Battle just also kind of
I
sucks,
just want-
though.
I
Yeah,
just
it
wanna
does.
fucking-
Like, there's a lot of issues with it. I just want an Arxis game.
Yeah, I just want
Everybody-
Arxis
Yeah.
game with rollback. Let's go.
But we already have.
All right,
that.
how
But we
many
ha-
other wishes do we want on the monkey's paw?
Okay.
Holly, you already
Hi.
got them in a next gen game. You got them in Jump Force.
Oh yeah.
No.
So
Jump
actually-
Force.
You got Jotaro and Dio and a future DLC character that we don't know what it is yet.
Can
It's
I go
gonna
on
be
a brief,
Joino probably.
Can I go on a
Probably.
brief tangent about JoJo games?
Sure.
Go
I
for
wanna
it.
say there is a really huge issue of scale when it comes to JoJo fighting games because you have to have a bare minimum of 24 characters. You have
That's
to have
just,
the main JoJo from every
yeah.
part, the main villain from every part, and one side character. Because you can't forget Bruno. You can't forget Kakyoin. You can't forget Kakyoin.
I mean- Heritage of the Future and Eyes of Heaven had to have Pet Shop in it.
Yeah.
And they made they got a Rocky to make Midler like a design for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, man, I don't know if we're ever gonna get like a quality fighting game with like every fucking JoJo character. 'cause,
Yeah,
like,
there's way too many
We
characters.
had Fighting Game of the Year
Yeah.
nominee. Jump Force is all you need.
Ugh, you're
Yeah,
right.
I guess it is.
One of someone on our Discord actually had a really interesting idea. They said, okay, you get to like pick 8 characters. It's a JoJo fighting game, but only 8 characters.
We do in the
You
Grand
just have
Blue
to pick the
style.
JoJos.
That's the thing. Like I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
like-
it'd be too easy. It'd be too much of a cop out to be like, okay, every JoJo, because like
yeah.
You can't really do anything else in that scenario, though, if you're actually making this kind of game.
It's true.
This is like Grand Blue Street Fighter 5, where like you start out with no characters, and it's gonna add a shit ton to DLC instead of actually having characters in there.
Oh no!
If they do that
that's the
shit
cursed
for like
way.
5 years, I'd love that.
The fact that All-Star
I would absolutely buy it all.
The fact that All-Star Battle got through its entire run without including Weather Report is honestly a fucking crime.
They put Bao in there.
Yeah, they put Bao, and they didn't put fucking Weather Report in the game.
They put Iggy in
How?
there.
Oof.
Even
That
Eyes of
sucks.
Heaven came out, and they never put in Foo Fighters. They put in 2 Poochies.
They put 2
No.
Diegos in there.
Actually, you know what? Like, it's fairer when they include like 3 Dios and like 5 Poochies or whatever.
they
Because
put 2
like
Diegos,
they can
and
just
one Diego wasn't even in the story mode.
yeah, but they can just reuse assets for a lot of that, and it's an
Yeah.
easy character slot. I don't mind that kind of thing. It's like I don't get why people complain when there's
mean,
like clone characters in a lot of games.
They changed up because Trish has a costume where it's like her and like wrapped up in like a curtain, that costume,
She had a
and they
fucking
actually had her.
bedsheet.
She doesn't punch. She only just like in that game they had like redesigned like her fighting style.
Why did they do that? They could have
Why
made Foo
not?
Fighters.
Nah, they got
Really just misaligned priorities.
we had to put
here.
Endol in there, okay?
Were we talking
yeah.
about JoJolion?
No!
What's
At one
JoJolion?
point. At one point.
If you want something funny, just put to make it related. Just type in Jobin Eyes of Heaven Sprite. It's so
Oh,
low
yeah.
res, it's great.
You have to like zoom into like the window, and they included a little sprite of Joven. It's hilarious.
Eyes of Heaven has some weird color palettes for the JoJolion cast.
Yeah.
They have some really bad color palettes in general.
I'm
Like
just thinking,
SBR
like,
has terrible
who would they
color
add?
Oh my
palettes.
god,
From-
like neon gyro.
I hate it.
Who would they
Alright.
add from Part 8? Like,
I was
now?
gonna say, bringing it back to Part 8, who are they gonna add if they make a new JoJo fighting game?
They somehow made
Joe
Joshua
Alright.
canon.
Jobin.
If they, yeah, Jobin and
Jobin.
Gappy, absolutely.
Yeah.
How many characters are we thinking? Like 4?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
my
sure.
picks were definitely Gappy, Jobin, Yasuho, and Damo.
That's a
Damo-
good- that's a
Damo
good-
getting like fucking like.
I
jiggle
like the
physics on his
reason I
stomach.
say Damo is he seems to be the most prevalent rock human that they could add as a fighter.
I'd say that if I was in charge of making a JoJo fighting game, I would have 2 types of characters: the like combat characters and then assist characters who are exclusively
Yeah,
meant
that's-
to assist.
yes.
Yeah.
There was a.
That's a good way of doing it. Although you still have to make all the assets for the assist characters, but not
There's
as
a-
many animations and stuff like that.
The thing is, Marvel vs. Capcom 1, they had a system where you could just have these characters that were assist only that you could like, choose, and they would come in, so like, you could just have them like in the game for fan service for the most
Wasn't
part.
it similar to like the spirits in Smash Bros?
Yeah, something like
but they
that.
actually appeared though in the game. Actually hit like enemies with
There
a
were
move.
sprites, yeah.
they were sprites that actually hit
Yeah.
people with the move.
Right.
Like
Spirits are just like really weird. Like there's like a
They're
JPEG and then like
stickers.
a palette swap.
Ah,
Like,
yeah, Gino's in the game, guys.
we did it.
no,
Gino.
those are called Mii Fighter skins.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Sans.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
we
we
do.
do.
I love that people have just assumed that that's a character, but yeah.
I think poor Banjo got overshadowed by Sans being in the game. So speaking of Sans, who in Part 8 is
We can't talk about Smash Bros. We'll get too off topic.
Yeah.
Way too off topic.
It's gonna end with Joshi becoming Sans.
Yeah, his hair all falls off and his one eye gets bright.
When you open the magazine that he comes into, he's gonna play Megalovania.
I don't know where this came
Speaking of
from.
Sans, who the fuck shot Johnny Joestar?
Obviously, Sans Undertale. Clearly, Sans in the corner. Oh my god!
I'm just gonna throw something into the chat, and you're not allowed to comment on this.
Oh, I'm
All
not.
right, it'll be kept a secret.
I already put
It'll be kept a
T-posing Jobin in the
secret
chat.
that no one who's listening to this will be able to figure out what's going on.
They already stopped listening.
Oh, of course they have. I would.
When we started talking about fighting games.
Yeah, really. There's like, is this even JoJo podcast anymore?
I wanted to find out what was gonna happen. Where's Emporio?
He's in a George Joestar.
Alright. fuck
No,
you.
this is cursed.
Fuck you. That's
This is
cursed.
cursed.
Just put
Why?
up a
Like-
giant like black box that's censored on it and say that's what we're
Redacted.
Yeah.
Redacted.
Oh,
Ugh, cursed.
That's
cursed.
cursed.
Is there anything else you can think about for the end of Part 8?
Oh, I can go all day if we want to, but
Well, we
I don't
already
think
saw
we have anything
Emporio.
else relevant.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Emporio wasn't part
I
of
I
it.
Dark
can't
time.
believe people actually thought that was Emporio somehow.
That was close enough to a Cubs uniform.
This is what we call JoJo bronies. Those are JoJo bronies that thought this was Emporio.
That for a good.
I mean, he needs to be around so he can be the protagonist of Part 9.
Yeah, confirmed by Araki himself.
Yep.
Oh man, that was a dark time. I wholly remember that. That was like
dark time. It's still going on.
I mean, people still think the child's Emporio.
No, people still think that Emporio is the Part 9 protagonist somehow.
He is.
Wrong.
Of course,
it's like a Schrodinger's cat thing. He both is and isn't because we don't
until
know
it's
yet.
proven otherwise.
It becomes a baseball manga.
Don't worry
Hey.
about the fact that he doesn't have Joe in its name. That doesn't matter.
A baseball battle manga of players using their stands to help get themselves.
JoJo is a sports manga. JoJo's sports manga would be really awesome.
We've had a
JoJo's
baseball
sports
player-
manga
I would
be
really
cool.
like that. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to sit through it for the next 6 years, though. Like,
Well, you know, it
At
would
the
just be
same
like the
time,
set
I think
dressing.
Steel Ball Run was kind of that at the very beginning. It was like a
Yeah,
horse
kinda.
jockey manga. So
true.
And that was freaking epic.
yeah, I love
Ranger
that. I've seen people say that was like boring. I don't understand how people could not like that part. That was like my favorite part.
Remember when Stroheim was in Part 7
Rip. We miss him.
and Abdul?
Oh god.
Like there was some weird.
Yeah.
I'm really
Yeah.
glad
Alright.
that Part 8 doesn't have those like shitty callbacks that are like for 2 panels and then they fucking die. Like
I think Araki was still like finding out what he wanted to do with the alternate universe at that point.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to do a quick like abridging of what you think the ending, your personal thought of what the ending's gonna be, then and like,
That's a good way to wrap this up,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
how would you abridge your idea of how it's ending?
Okay, wait. I kind of wrote. I'll start. I kind of wrote some stuff down. So, wait. I have to read what I wrote. Okay, so Gappy,
Oh yeah.
Gappy evolves stand. Jobin is able to heal Tsurugi, and Norisuke, and end the curse. But Gappy's evolved stand is going to it's going to be the opposite of Plunder, where he's going to give Jobin the curse. Like Jobin is going to become a vessel for the curse, so he's going to completely turn into stone and be like a stone man forever and die.
The new
Yasuo is going to
Angela-
die. The character death Yasuo will die. But they will save Tsurugi. Or alternatively, Kyo will be the one that dies after an epic scene.
I'm back. I'm dead.
And that's really it. Those
Kyo's
are my
back, Kyo's
scatterbrain.
I like Jovin becoming the new Angela Rock. For the
Yeah,
town.
that's kind of my the one idea that I kind of was like, oh, I like the idea of Jobin, because Jobin can't be redeemed at this point.
Yo, Jovin.
Yeah, Jobin's
Yeah.
either just gonna die or sacrifice himself. There's no in between. I don't think there's another scenario that could happen.
He goes to prison.
We are talking about Jojo, right?
Part 9, Jovin's the Joestar in the prison.
Imagine the shit that he would get up to. He'd be finding all these small animals, like bugs to tame.
There's rods
Actually,
in here.
I like
Damn
this.
it.
I think that okay. So if I can summarize my thing, I don't have as many specifics, right? I think
That's
that
fine.
there's gonna be an evolved stand, but if I were to sum up how I think it's going to end, I think it's going to be a much smaller, much toned back, sort of smaller and more intimate ending, kind
I
of
agree.
like the ending to your sort of Breaking Bad. I've brought this one up before, where it's just sort of this very emotional confrontation where it's like, wow, you've fucking ruined all of our lives. You thought you were helping us, Jobin? You're a fucking wreck. You're destroying everyone around you and shit. And
Tearing the family apart.
yeah, and then which ultimately ends in a violent conflict and someone dies. I don't know. But I'm for as much confusion as there is, I'm really, really liking where it's going. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think if
Same.
if Araki delivers on the setup that he's provided, this will be the best part. No question. It just needs to
Absolutely.
stick the landing.
Every mystery that's been revealed, or we got a information dump of a little bit, have been awesome.
So satisfying. Every flashback, I've said this before, but every time there's a flashback in JoJolion, I am 100%, 10 out of 10 hyped.
Same.
They've always been incredible and super thought-provoking or character fleshing out. Just awesome.
There's a lot of writers out there who have trouble ending their stories. I don't think Araki is one of them.
Yeah,
I agree.
Araki is the type of writer who writes everything before the ending with the ending in mind.
Yeah.
I think even back in Stardust Crusaders, the first thing he came up with was the world. At least the design of the world. I remember hearing that somewhere. I might be wrong, but
And I feel like doing it apart makes it easier than just having a one giant story trying to like epic on such a grand scale and then falling flat like a lot of shounens do.
Yeah. So wait. Okay. So who hasn't gone? So Sam, do you want to go next? What's your like sum up idea of how the part's gonna end?
I agree with the whole. I think Jobin will I think Jobin will still end up sacrificed somehow from the whole ceremony. You know, he's trying to. Something's gonna happen because the whole fruit tug of war is. I feel like the fruit is gonna end up getting destroyed, and it's just gonna make everybody.
That's really likely.
Like lead to come to blows.
I didn't consider that. Yeah.
Oh man.
I didn't consider the fruit to like just not getting used at all.
They're all gonna
that'd
have
be heart-wrenching.
a tug of war, and it's gonna get wrecked. So Holly's gonna kind of get fucked, and you know, Tsurugi's gonna be fine because Jobin had to end up sacrificing himself.
And then... I see no reality where Tsurugi
wait,
dies.
No, that doesn't work though. If Jobin just sacrifices himself for Tsurugi, because the whole point of the story is it's about ending the curse of the Higashikata family, and that wouldn't end it. It would just prolong it.
Yeah, but he's gonna be out of options, kind of thing. Where like, I guess it's gonna be up to you, Tsurugi, to like figure this out. Then.
Yeah, I also think if I can put a brief addendum, I think that not enough people have considered the flash forward, the possibility of that taking place at the very end of the story.
No,
there's a time.
Specifically say it's 13 minutes before the harvest.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that like. There's a possibility that, like, a lot of things are concluded before that point, and that is just, like, maybe that happens, and then, like, a chapter or two later.
I mean, we're 3 hours away from that point. Araki's gonna have to, like, have shit hustle if he wants to do that.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
although
like,
then again,
once
it took...
catches up to the flash forward, then it's going to end pretty briefly after, I think.
Right. I think it took Yasuo one full day to drive from her house to the Higashikata estate. I am not over that shit. That was I was keeping track of the time frames, and then that happened, and I was just like, fuck it. Who cares? Araki doesn't.
She went and fucked Toru.
Yeah.
That's the only explanation. That's the only thing that could have happened. And his creepy van.
Oh.
Now, I'm gonna show you something very special, and then he goes to a fast food place he really likes, and eating on the ground outside the car with her, and then just saying, "I'll drop you off now."
Honestly,
that's
it's
his
not
idea
out
of a
of the
date.
question. That would provide some tension between her and Gappy.
But
I don't like that idea.
Yeah, I think the Jobin is just gonna be dead because we don't see him at all during that flash forward. So I kind of just get that feeling that Jobin's gonna be dead before the harvest.
I think the whole point of that is because, like, what Jobin did in relation to Norisuke, it needs to be kept, like... Because Jobin, we have this whole thing where if Jobin did cause Daya to remove the memories of all the other Higashikatas, he's gonna know it, and he's gonna be acting differently because of that. And there's also the possibility that he's not even, like, around there at that point in time, because he's doing something with the Jokakaka, because it's 13 minutes before the harvest. And there's, like, it just makes you consider all the different possibilities of where everyone else who's not in that scene is at that point in time.
Everybody could be at the hospital for all we know, somehow. Like, other than, like,
I think everyone's, at this current point in time, going to, like, gather together at the Higashikata estate, because everyone seems to be heading there right now. Even though Gappy's still at the damn TG University Hospital, just sitting there
thinking.
And we know that Mamazuku is meeting him, so...
Yeah, so, like, how they end up getting there, who knows? I think that's going to be the focus of the next chapter, but
yeah.
Oh, I can't wait!
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that new chapter is coming in 2 weeks. I didn't even realize.
Time has, like, become a flat circle now during this
Time never existed.
Lucky you. It's in Dragon.
No, for me, it's like, it's been dragging and also speeding up. Like, sometimes I'm like, damn, it's still this week, and other times like, damn, it's gonna be May.
I woke up like 2 hours ago.
Oh my god.
Not really, but, like, it feels like that.
Yeah.
I really do.
It
do be like that.
I've been up since like 4 a.m. today. Or no.
I didn't fall asleep till like 5 a.m. and did it last night.
My sleep schedule has gotten so fucked up with this whole quarantine thing.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I took an energy drink at work, and then I was like, I'm not gonna fall asleep till 5 a.m.
God, doctors being the villains in this JoJo part could not have come at a more awkward time.
Alright, but like a doctor that's bringing a calamity, and then the enemy, the protagonist is also a fusion of a doctor. I feel like it's still a bit like it kind of works.
I can't wait for the main villain to die by an ambulance again in the Mirror Part 4.
If it wasn't for like Holly Joestar Kira, I would say that. But you know what? I think this does resonate pretty well.
Oh my god. Tori
Jim's theory
drives up and runs over Jobin. Just completely on accident.
He's like, "Hey guys, what I miss?"
He's just a shitty driver.
Think of that Tim and Eric.
That's why it took him a day to get there.
Jim, I think of Tim and Eric was
He
like...
left
Yeah.
the city and then came back.
His hands are covered in ketchup and burger grease, so he didn't get a good handle on the wheel.
I was thinking, with Jim's theory of like Holly being the main villain, then she just gets run over by the ambulance at the end.
He was busy eating
Hey.
his burger off the floor of his car. Oh my god.
Would you eat a floor burger if it was still like
Absolutely.
Best enjoyed on the floor.
a trash burger?
All right, so wait, Aeon, did you give us your like TLD or summed up abridged ending?
I mean, I'm still going with my coronation theory. I feel like I have to stick with that at this point. Gappy is going to evolve his stand into King Creole.
Yeah, if you guys want to know,
it's really good.
If you
King
guys want to
Crayola.
know what he thinks, go watch his funny video. Awesome.
Go
cool
watch the
video.
coronation theory. It's the best thing I've ever created.
It is the funniest.
It's really
video I've ever
fucking
seen.
good.
Shit, we go into
Yeah,
plugs
it's so
already.
funny. It's so damn funny. I just talk about like funny shit for an hour. It's one big meme.
And then he turned into a pickle. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
His stand evolved into King Pickle.
King Pickle Rick. Oh my god, there was a really good Final Fantasy one of like Cloud getting a flashback and it was just Sephiroth like taunting him about Pickle Rick, and it was probably the best one. But
Pretty
should we get
good.
to the plug?
I like the one the translator of JOJOLION made where it's just Jobin saying, Noriske, he turned himself into a pickle. It's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
The low cost is actually a pickle. It's actually a pickle juice.
No, but since people probably don't know, a lot of people probably don't know what I'm referring to with coronation theory. My idea was that Gappy is like an interpretation of Elvis Presley, who's the king of rock, and his stand would evolve into King Creole, which is Elvis Presley's the album he created before his mother died. So yeah, if you're interested in hearing that, just go check it out. I worked really hard on it. It's one of my best videos.
Yeah, that's your theory.
It's super good.
It's super good.
I'm really rooting for that theory actually. When you like, there were so many moments in that video where I was like, damn, like these really do connect in like a very satisfying way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I feel like I'm just obligated to back that at this point, even if it ends up being wrong.
Put too much work into it.
You got
Put too much work
stand by
into
it.
it.
That's kind of how I was with the Holly Joestar main villain theory for a while, but I kind of put that one in my back pocket. I'm saving that for a rainy day. I don't think she's going to be main villain anymore.
Shove it and scream at people like I was right.
It almost certainly will not happen, though.
You're gonna rip the page out of the magazine and just shove it in people's face, like down the road. All right, anything else?
I mean, yes, but I don't really have anything to add now.
Yeah, essentially.
We got like 2 hours of nonsense.
Yeah, we basically just hit the 2-hour mark, like roughly
yeah.
speaking.
Although we
We'd
do
love to
have
see
one
it.
really important thing to discuss.
Yes.
I thought I would think of something if I actually
I thought Discord cut out. I was really scared. I'm like, oh no, I don't hear what it was.
The
I was
source
like, oh my god, edge of your
is...
seat.
Ba-dum.
It was pickle. Jobin turns into a pickle. It's the funniest shit. That's my theory, you know.
I don't know what I was going for there. All right, cool. I think this is the end.
All right, yeah. So I think we can start plugging it up.
Let the guests
we already
plug their
talked
stuff
about
first.
Aeon. You already talked about your coronation theory. I saw
Yep.
you've also done a couple other your Twitter compilation video or your like Twitter theory one. That was really good too.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to plug?
Yeah, just Aeonstar there. You guys go.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Holly?
Go
Okay,
ahead.
I'll plug my shit then.
Yeah,
I have
please.
a YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Purmello, or you can just search it, Purmello. I do JoJo animations whenever I can be fucked to do them. I actually have a new one coming out sometime soon. It's a
Hell yeah.
Stone Ocean animation. It's looking pretty good so far. So
Looking
I'm
forward to
super
it.
psyched.
Can't wait.
Yeah. So that's it.
All right.
Hell
All I
yeah.
got. Also follow me on Twitter for funny stuff. Same name.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for listening to this 2 hours. You made it this far. Congrats.
This monster.
This monster of a podcast.
Should
Oh, should we do the
funny?
funny thing that we do,
Yeah, let's
where
do
we
that.
have like a question?
Yeah, let's do like a
At the
little-
end.
Are you,
I-
team something or whatever?
What, the
Fuck, I
dog
can't think of
turd
anything
and-
funny.
Are you
Are you
dog
We can't
team
do dog
good
turd
ending
again.
or bad ending?
good end, bad end, or or neutral end? I don't know.
Or an ending I kind of like.
Okay, here's my funny question proposal.
Okay.
If JoJolion was a JRPG, what weird fucked conditions would you have to meet to get the good ending?
This is good.
That's pretty good. I
All
like
right.
that.
You heard her, dear commenters. In your comment below, answer to prove that you listened this far into the video.
You said
Yes.
JRPG. I was thinking of just like Mass Effect ending of just like 3 colors at the end. That's it.
No.
You had to do the Jokakaka quest in chapter 2.
Oh God.
Oh, you didn't get bitten by some mystery thing? No ending for you.
You have to perform perfectly in the fuck Yasuho minigame in chapter 18.
You didn't accept a low caca from Holly. Ooh.
Oh, you suffocated and died. Game over.
But you have both eyes, so you're good.
So at least you leave a pretty corpse.
Yes, you're pretty cool.
I can't believe you didn't do the Gappy eye patch subquest.
I cannot believe you didn't go to the dentist to fix Gappy's teeth.
The most obvious one. You idiot. You fucking missed
Now
it.
he's never
What
gonna
was
be
the
able to
point?
whistle.
What do you think was the point of the whole Gappy thing?
And then
Wait, you
there's
ma-
also the
you
DLC bonus item that you have to pay $3 for, and it's when he fixes teeth, but you can pay for a artificial gap to get it put back,
the gap.
because if you like
It's just a
cosmetic.
Sharpie.
You didn't get to the side.
It's
side quest
Persona.
where-
You have to pay $20 to get the evolved stand.
Oh.
Alright,
You
let's
get to
not give them too many ideas.
The side quest
That happened.
where Gappy, Yasho, and what's it called? and
President.
Haito go to Damo and cross-dress Gappy to see who he picks as like his next bride to infiltrate the estate. What do you mean it didn't happen in part 8? Anything?
I feel like the longer we continue with this, the worse it's gonna get.
Yeah, we should probably
Yeah.
just fucking
Alright.
cut our
Party-
losses.
All right, this is
Madness.
it. This is it. I'm saying
Thank
goodbye.
you for
Alright,
inviting
goodbye.
us, and so
I have
we
to plug
can
the other
ruin the
stuff.
podcast.
Oh yeah, wait, shit. Sam needs to plug.
Don't even plug other shit.
Follow me on Twitter. I'm King
Yeah.
at King Protus.
You're doing the wrong one.
yeah.
Damn it.
Shit.
This is why you will do
Oh,
it.
It's a
God.
fucking mess. I can't believe I'm not drunk.
All right. Like, comment, subscribe, all that crappy stuff. Describe to everybody here. Follow the podcast on Twitter and each of us individually. You
Did
check
say
out our other.
describe us.
Subscribe to us.
Subscribe.
God,
Describe
you're
us
rushing-
in the comments.
You're making me panic. God damn it.
Describe what the subscribe button looks like in very big detail.
What if I told you it was red?
All right, we need to end this. All right, thank you so much, everyone.
All right.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
It's ending.